RG3, you are the man.
We have been waiting for 20 years for something like this.
It is fun. Who would have thought getting knocked on your butt and throwing a touchdown would start a phenomenon like that?
RG3 has brought the victory back to Washington, D.C.
Robert Griffin III, his coach said it's only one game, but he has set the bar high. Hey, whoever you are, get out of the way. Everybody wants to see RG3, but the Rams have won the toss, and they will receive. So Sam Bradford, also a Heisman Trophy winner, will lead the Rams.
And you look at them up front, Chris, they get their running backs, and Steven Jackson's the bell cow for sure. But I think the big story is up front when you look at their offensive line. And Roger Saffold, who had a significant neck injury last week against the Detroit Lions, is playing today. And they'll need him against those outside linebackers and all the pressure they're going to see from the Washington Redskins.
What
Happy
an
for Roger.
Emotional boost to have Roger Saffold back. Billy Cundiff will kick off. 9 kickoffs, 6 were touchbacks last week in the win over New Orleans down at the Superdome, where Mike Shanahan won his 3rd consecutive opening game as head coach of the Redskins. And Jeff Fisher, 13-6 against first-year quarterbacks, and a tough loss on the road in Detroit. They led all but 8 minutes of that game.
And we were talking to Jeff the other day, and he said he was getting all these texts from friends after the Detroit game and say, "Hey, great job, man, way to battle." He said, "No, it wasn't a great job. We lost. We had an opportunity to win the game, and we gave it up with 10 seconds to go." So he will. That's erased. He hit the delete button. He'll have these guys cranked up, focused, ready to go today.
And Chris Gibbons, the rookie, back to return. So game 2, Redskins-Rams happening here in St. Louis. And the Cundiff kick goes through the end zone. Rams come out on offense from the 20-yard line. And this Redskin defense up front, Stephen Bowen, ex-Cowboy, Cofield, an ex-Giant, and Carragher, an ex-Rams.
And that's where it all starts, with those 3 guys inside defending the run. And they really want to, set the point at the line of scrimmage and let those outside linebackers set the edge and force it all back inside to a great player. And don't minimize it, a great player, London Fletcher. On the back end, D'Angelo Hall playing some nickel corner. We'll see him get into the slot today when they get into their 3 corners. This Redskins defense was terrific last week against New Orleans.
Sam Bradford's throw is complete, and that is Danny Amendola, and lost the football. Picking up with it and running the other way for the Redskins is Josh Wilson. Washington with a defensive touchdown, a takeaway and score on the first play from scrimmage.
Well, they knocked it out twice last week. Here's Danny Amendola. He's going to cut back inside. Oh, and that ball, Perry Riley with his right hand as Danny Amendola was getting tackled from his legs. Watch Perry Riley, 56, coming here with his right hand right there and punch that football out. That's a clear fumble, and it's going to end up being a touchdown.
Redskin defense was all over the field last week against Drew Brees and the Saints, with a couple of interceptions, a fumble and run back for Josh Wilson, and the extra point makes it 7-0.
And they wanted to get Danny Amendola the ball in space, let him get out there early, make a play, and he's doing it all the way till the end. Looked like London Fletcher was down on his legs tackling him, and then Perry Riley just perfect with the right hand punching the ball out. Josh Wilson picks it up and walks into the end zone, basically.
Rams have lost their last 5 home openers. And Washington, remember, last year started 2-0, a fast start in game 2. Jim Haslett, once the coordinator and interim head coach for the Rams, running the show on the Redskin defense.
And we were talking to Haslett yesterday, and I've covered a lot of games, Chris, where he's the defensive coordinator. Collectively, I don't think I've ever seen a defense on point as a group as they were last week against the New Orleans Saints. They were 61 for 61 in terms of tackling. The game's still about blocking and tackling. They defended the blockers and they made all the tackles, didn't miss one.
Josh Wilson, his first career fumble return for a touchdown, his 6th career touchdown, and picked up the loose football, ran 30 yards. Robert Griffin III hasn't taken the field yet, and his team has a 7-0 lead. Isaiah Peed now back to try and return a Billy Cundiff kick. Ball off the tee, so they'll reset it. There is the Heisman Trophy winner from Baylor and ready for his second NFL game.
What a crusher for the St. Louis Rams emotionally to start the game like that.
And nobody feels worse than Danny Amendola. The rookie has a chance. Isaiah Peed cut down before he got to the 9-yard line. Excellent special teams play by Danny Smith's unit. Redskins bottling him up as D'Angelo Hall, who was all over the field in the slot from his corner position last week, also playing special teams and making the big play.
Here's what I anticipate seeing from the St. Louis Rams today against that lethal defense. You're going to see a lot of the spread attack, which means getting your tight end and the regular personnel groupings out and away from the line of scrimmage. Try to get one of those linebackers walking out on him. We see right there with Ryan Kerrigan, who's going to work back into the outside linebacker position.
Sam Bradford's second throw completes. There's a flag on the play as Amendola gets across the 16-yard line.
Adam Carricker is down on the goal line.
The former Ram first-round draft pick of the Redskins in pain. Catch made, no first down, flag down, and checking the injury. It's already a lot going on here with just 2 plays from scrimmage.
And what we just saw, early first down throws is what we're going to see in this game. We've already seen 2 of them on first down.
Defense number 23, 5-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
Well, it just looked like his knee gave out on him as he was trying to push the offensive guard back. The right knee just gave way for Adam Carricker.
Holding on the Redskins, so the Rams will have a first down when we continue.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com.
28-year-old Adam Carricker on the defensive line helped off the field, so Kedrick Golston, number 64, takes his spot up front. Rams get a first down on the hold from D'Angelo Hall, the defensive holding, as they spot the ball at the 14-yard line. Steven Jackson, the running back. Amendola in motion. Bradford completes. Out of bounds and hit hard once he was out of bounds, and here comes the flag. London Fletcher just drilled Danny Amendola.
3 plays, 3 passes from the Rams, and here comes London Fletcher. Danny Amendola actually had not stepped out of bounds.
Personal foul.
He was in the air
number 59,
when London Fletcher hit him.
First down.
And when London Fletcher left his feet to hit Danny Amendola was still in bounds, jumping in the air. He had never touched anything out of bounds by the time London Fletcher made contact with him.
At age 37, still playing like a 27-year-old, you think he would know. And after the 12-yard pickup, the penalty of 15, it's a 27-yard gain for the Rams, up to the 41-yard line. First and 10. Trailing 7-0 on a turnover. Another quick throw. Amendola brought down right at the 40. Might lose a half a yard as Orakpo steps out to get it.
4 fast passes from the St. Louis Rams. Clearly trying to get Sam Bradford into a rhythm. Get those defensive linemen for the Washington Redskins running a little bit. And here it's Brian Orakpo. And this is what I was talking about the spread sets. Getting that outside linebacker out in coverage. And this is just outstanding from Brian Orakpo. One-on-one with a guy in Danny Amendola who becomes a punt returner in space. No chance to get away from Orakpo.
Splitting out is Gibbons to the right. He's the speedball for the Rams. Bradford to Amendola. Nice fingertip grab inside the 45 of the Redskins for a first down. A gain of 16.
Well, what a throw and what a catch right in between 2 defenders. And Danny Amendola, who already lost the fumble and I know is sick over it, mentally and emotionally makes a big play. And a very nice catch to cross midfield to pick up the first down.
Bradford 4 for 4, and Amendola has them all.
And you can understand why they're going with the fast pass. 7 sacks last year from the Washington Redskins when they played these Rams here.
They fake the run again. Bradford floats it for Gibbons. Tipped away at the last moment. An excellent defensive play by Dijon Gomes. Starting at safety for Brandon Merriweather, who the Redskins hope will be back next week.
And that's another way, Chris, that you try to protect yourself from the pass rushers as you move the pocket. You get Sam Bradford using his legs, moving out on the edge. And he just took a chance to Gibbons there, who was well covered by Dijon Gomes.
Those 7 sacks in their last meeting were a career high for Sam Bradford. This Brian Schottenheimer calling the offensive plays. This is the 5th straight year these two teams are playing each other. They've split so far.
Lock it.
Like 20.
Pressure coming. Picked up for a moment. Bradford and completes it. Down on his knees was Danny Amendola. It'll be 3rd down.
Tell me Sam Bradford is not happy to have Danny Amendola back as his security blanket.
He was injured in the opener last year with the elbow, missed the entire season.
Nice job by Sam seeing the inside pressure come. London Fletcher came up inside, so Sam's got to get on his horse and use his legs, get out to the edge, and that's his security blanket I was talking about there, Danny Amendola. There's Adam Carricker getting some ice on that right knee.
3rd down and 3.
Come on. 20. 20 out. Who 80?
From the 37, Sam Bradford floats, and there's Amendola with a first down. Cuts inside the 30 of Washington. They've yet to run the ball.
It's called a ball control passing game, and crossing routes versus this man coverage is outstanding. You see Cedric Griffin, who just has no chance at the line of scrimmage. Danny Amendola is quick as a hiccup, and I'm telling you, if you don't get your hands on him at the line of scrimmage on those shallow crossing routes, there's no way you're going to be able to keep up with his quickness.
6 catches for 52 yards. Sam Bradford like he's running Bob Stoops' offense at Oklahoma. Steven Jackson, first run of the game for the Rams. And Jackson down the sideline to the 15.
Now, first run of the game, it's all clogged up at the point of attack. Now Steven Jackson's got to bounce it. Look at him run right through that tackle attempt by London Fletcher. We were as Jimmy Haslett said, they didn't miss a tackle against New Orleans. Clearly, they've already missed one in this game. Very good game plan and in terms of the play calling so far by Brian Schottenheimer.
Longest run for Jackson. He had 21 carries last week. That was a 14-yard pickup. Bradford for the end zone and Brandon Gibson. And that is a out-of-bounds catch. Josh Wilson, who picked up the fumble and ran it in for a touchdown, was back there covering with Brandon Gibson.
Gibson's going to work it in and then go to the corner. That's a nice throw by Sam Bradford. There's 1 foot down. Hard to tell if the right toe was able to tap inbounds. Left foot down, right toe tap.
Might be worth a challenge.
Oh, that's definitely got to be a challenge. And as you know, if it's not called a touchdown, the head coach has got to throw his challenge flag.
They can slow it down, freeze frame it in HD, but no challenge. Not yet. Comes a flag and 2nd down.
Well, and maybe an opportunity with the flag to get a better look if you're Jeff Fisher.
False start. Offense number 79. 5-yard penalty. Remains 2nd down.
You got to think about challenging this.
No challenge. It is on the big screen, and the fans here in St. Louis want a challenge.
Let's see if any part of the left foot is on the stripe. It's in. Now the right toe, it looked like it tapped in as well. That would have been worth a challenge for sure.
Enough to overturn if you take a closer look. 2nd and 15 after the Ram penalty. 3 receivers on the left side. Steven Jackson straight ahead. Tough running inside the 20. Rams' second possession on the opening kickoff, a catch and fumble by Amendola, run back by Josh Wilson, and that's how Washington has the 7-0 lead. We got 5 minutes gone here in the first quarter, and Robert Griffin III has yet to get on the field.
10 plays, 2 runs from Brian Schottenheimer, as you see the play selection right there. And you know what? This team, the Redskins, they weren't even tested last week by the Saints. In the whole game, Chris, it was 10 runs in the football game from New Orleans.
From the 14, tight end Lance Kendrick splits way out to the left. Pressure. Grafter, the ball's loose, and the Rams recover. Roger Saffold picks it up. Arakpo got in and forced the fumble on Bradford. And Saffold, who was taken away on a stretcher last week and suffered a neck injury and had a miraculous recovery to be at practice, is down on the field, and it looks like Arakpo is hurting as well.
And Arakpo, if you remember, had a shoulder injury in training camp. Oh, I feel bad for Roger Saffold. Oh, my goodness.
Arakpo's first sack of the season. Rams facing a 4th down here in St. Louis.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Bud Light, the official beer of NFL fans. Here we go.
First quarter in St. Louis. Roger Saffold being helped off the field, limping. Remember the neck injury last week. Last year, a pectoral injury. And Brian Arakpo, who had his first sack of the year, over on the Redskins sideline.
Got to feel awful for Roger Saffold. I mean, he can't get a break. That's just Buzzard's luck now.
Field goal try of 39 yards on 4th and 16. Greg Zuerlein, the rookie from Missouri Western State. That's about 5 hours west of here. Will line up and try to get the Rams on the board.
I still think that no touchdown in the end zone was worth a challenge.
Zuerlein 3 for 3 when his career started last week, and this kick, he's 4 for 4. Rams drive downfield and put up 3. 9:05 remaining here in the opening quarter, and we're going to see Robert Griffin III with a 7-3 advantage.
Today's game is sponsored by Lexus, introducing a stunning work of technology, the entirely new Lexus ES by AT&T, the nation's largest 4G network. AT&T, rethink possible. And by Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Roger Saffold injured, one of the 3 offensive linemen for the Rams who were hurt last week, and that's Brian Arakpo checking his shoulder. His pads are off, and you see Adam Carricker sitting next to him, who went out with a right knee injury on the Redskin defensive line. So Zuerlein kicks off with the Redskins leading 7-3 and the speedy Brandon Banks. Ball is out, and he's out of bounds right around the 20-yard line. And here is the second pick in the overall draft. He will not have Pierre Garçon, who is inactive today with a foot injury.
He will have his big boys up front, no question about that. And you look, Alfred Morris, 28 carries last week. Joshua Morgan now stepping in, Aldrick Robinson. I can see Fred Davis having a big day. The offensive line, though, Chris, really makes these guys go. Everyone will talk about Trent Williams, who's a fantastic talent. Will Montgomery played great at center last week against the Saints.
That is the rookie Alfred Morris from Florida Atlantic. James Laurinaitis brings him down once he gets across the 25-yard line. Ram defense still without their #1 pick, Michael Brockers, the tackle from LSU.
Huge challenge for this group up front. The defensive tackles with all the combination zone blocks are going to have to stay on their feet and penetrate the defensive ends, trying to contain Robert Griffin III. Much upgraded at the linebacker position. And back in the secondary, Janoris Jenkins, I got to tell you, the rookie last week in Detroit was outstanding. They're expecting big things out of him here today.
Again, it's Alfred Morris, and this time cut down right at the line of scrimmage. Janoris Jenkins, the rookie, coming from his corner spot.
He's an outstanding cover man, but what I noticed in watching Janoris Jenkins in the preseason and then last week is this cat will hit you now. He will come up and thump you in run support. And anytime you're playing an offense that's really trying to get out on the edge with Robert Griffin III and their stretch play with the running back out on the outside, you're going to need your corners being part of the run game as tacklers.
3rd and 5. Roy Halou checks in. Robert Griffin III, and did he hold on at midfield? Aldrick Robinson making the grab and going to the turf for a Redskin first down. Aldrick Robinson, the start for Pierre Garçon, had a touchdown and 4 catches last week.
Yeah, and a good throw will beat good coverage, and that throw was better than the coverage. Did that ball hit the ground and move before Aldrick Robinson had possession? That's the question.
They hurry to the line after a gain of 12. Niles ball lines up in the backfield. Here goes Robert Griffin III. And the Rams are ready for him. Already in Jolon Dunbar's face as well.
Well, we know Jolon Dunbar can run. Here he is, 58. This is a planned run by Robert Griffin III. Let's watch number 58, the outside linebacker, Jolon Dunbar, just basically have enough juice to run with a guy who is a world-class athlete and get him out of bounds on a tackle for loss.
Not a sack, but a loss of 4. Brandon Banks checks in on 2nd and 14. He fakes, he flips, and completes. Fred Davis. Let's get an update on the Giants and Buccaneers and Patrick O'Neal.
Well, we have another miracle at the Meadowlands. Andre Brown filling in for an injured Ahmad Bradshaw. Well, the Bucs let him score a 2-yard touchdown. Last chance for Josh Freeman trying to hit Dallas Clark. Bad pass picked off by Michael Boley. Giants outscore the Bucs in the 4th, 25-7. Chris and Tim, incredible game.
It's 3rd and 8 with 5 defensive backs. They got him. RG3 in the arms of Robert Quinn.
I want you to watch the handwork of Robert Quinn as he comes around the corner on Trent Williams. Watch number 94 get the hands down, whap right there. Then the ability to dip that shoulder and turn the corner and get on Robert Griffin basically by the time he hit the last step in his drop. Really impressive. And they'll need that speed out on the edge when you're trying to defend RG3.
Sal Rocco had one blocked last week. That was close. And here's Amendola. Danny Amendola toward the sideline. No flags. Get up! 54-yard punt and a 21-yard return. And Robert Quinn, his 2nd sack of the season. What a story for that young man as he gets Brian Arakpo getting his pads back on, but out of the game for the moment as Rob Jackson, number 50, comes in at that outside linebacker spot. And Wayne Hunter, the former Jet, slips in at left tackle to replace Roger Saffold. Hunter 72. Now Steven Jackson is the back. Rams with excellent field position from the 38. It's 1st and 10.
By 20. 125.
Sam Bradford is on the move and throws it out of bounds. Let's check in again with Patrick O'Neal for another update.
All right, thanks a lot. Well, Philadelphia, can they do it again? Remember last week, 4th quarter comeback to beat Cleveland. That caps off a 9-play, 80-yard drive, 1:43 remaining in the 4th.
Thanks, Patrick. Carolina beat the Saints. He showed us the Giants over Tampa Bay. And how about the Arizona Cardinals upsetting the Patriots in New England?
Incredible with Kevin Cobb as their starting quarterback today.
Bradford's throw, and guess who? Short of the first down, but Danny Amendola are just short of the 45-yard line. It'll bring up 3rd down.
Now, Sam Bradford knows they've got to be in the 3rd and manageables today. You get into the 3rd and longs, and we'll consider 3rd and long, 3rd and 6+. That's when guys like Brian Arakpo who's coming back in the game can pin their ears back and really rush the passer. You get in the third and manageables, 3rd and 6 or less, your whole playbook's open. They were in 3rd and 6 plus last week, Chris, 7 times against the Detroit Lions. They only converted 1 of those 3rd downs.
Only 2 rushing attempts today. Daryl Richardson, number 26, the rookie from Abilene Christian, checks into the game. On 3rd and 2, the flip toward the sideline. It is Richardson.
That does not look like a favorable spot.
And I thought at first glance that he had enough to get the first down.
It looked like the ball was to where the ball is when he goes out of bounds. And it looked like he had the ball up over the first down marker.
No hesitation here on 4th and short. The punting team for Jeff Fisher. His rookie place kicker, Greg Zuerlein, has been terrific. So is his rookie punter, whose first snap in the NFL. He had difficult handling, but got the kickoff. Did a nice job last week. Hecker, a quarterback in high school, capable of throwing the football. He's a punter first. Brandon Banks watches it go into the end zone. Robert Griffin III, after the 53-yard punt, will take over at the 20. Play to Richardson, looked like a bad spot.
That was an awful spot. Daryl Richardson clearly, before anything, touched out of bounds. That ball, even his body, was past the first down line.
1st and 10 Redskins. Joshua Morgan for a first down, leaping across the 32-yard line. Robert Quinn, who was in on the play, and I mentioned after the sack, a terrific story, Tim. Robert Quinn, who was of course a first-round draft pick out of North Carolina last year, as a teenager was having blackouts. Found out he was suffering from a brain tumor.
Yeah, and finally when he blacked out for the umpteenth time, he said it was time to check out and go check it out. And he was in surgery the next couple of days, having brain surgery. And how about the story that he's still out there playing with part of that tumor in his brain? Incredible.
Alfred Morris carries. Chris Long on the play, and Robert Quinn, the doctors told him, forget about playing football. You could be brain dead. It's that serious. But after surgery and the proper medical attention and alert parents, he is healthy and thankfully said, I know, I count my blessing every day that somebody up there is looking out for me.
Yeah, really a medical miracle. As you said, from should have been brain dead to you'll never play sports to getting cleared and then going back to wrestling. This guy was an outstanding wrestler. I think that's a huge part of his mental toughness and resolve.
On 2nd down 7 from just short of the Redskin 35, Robert Griffin is on the run and has to get rid of it. Excellent pressure from the Rams. Jolan Dunbar came in on him, and he's doing some talking out there.
Well, and they're keeping him in the pocket. We've already seen 1 sack by Robert Quinn, getting a little chippy out there where Robert Griffin was in the pocket. Here they're able to pin him in there as well. And Chris Long, watch the bull rush, the power rush by Chris Long to get push. So now, as the edge pressure comes, there's nowhere for Robert Griffin to step up.
A flag thrown at the 20.
Intentional grounding, 10-yard penalty, loss of down, 3rd down.
Rams were arguing on that last throw that he was not out.
Well, if you're going to throw the ball away inside the pocket, which he is here, and the pocket's tackle to tackle, there's got to be a receiver in the vicinity. It doesn't have to get back to the line of scrimmage like it does when you're outside the pocket, but there's got to be a wideout in the vicinity.
There's nobody
there, and then, yeah, nobody even close.
So Jeff Fisher's defensive game plan on 3rd and 17 seems to have RG3 a bit off his game early.
I think we've seen a little bit of everything from Jeff Fisher, Chris. We've seen 3-man lines, dropping 8 guys back. We've seen pressure, sending 5, sending 6. See what he does here. Play coverage, keep it up in front of you, and make a tackle before the first down mark.
Robert Griffin III on the run. He'll keep and go out of bounds across the 35-yard line, falling and sliding. And here comes a flag. And there's some pushing and shoving going on.
That flag is unbelievably late.
Mike Shanahan in the middle of that. At age 60, he's, I'm sure, saying, respect your elders. And they couldn't be throwing the flag on Robert Griffin because he was out of bounds and slid on his own.
It came unbelievably late from the official. And Jeff Fisher knows it. I mean, Robert Griffin was already down on the sideline. The scrum started, and then the official came from way back on the defense and threw the flag.
Personal foul, defense, laid it out of bounds, 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
All right, our referee is Wayne Elliott. He did not give a number.
That's Sims that hits him from behind. So Robert Griffin's going to go down. He actually hits someone on the stripes over there. The flag still has not come out.
He's not out of bounds here. Now he is. That's a terrible call. After a run of 10 yards and a 15-yard penalty, it's first down for the Redskins. Alfred Morris, the rookie, inside the 45 of the Rams.
We've already seen, I think, a couple of awful things from the referees. I mean, clearly that was a bad spot on the sideline for Daryl Richardson.
Questionable call in the end zone.
I thought very questionable. I thought it was a questionable call on London Fletcher's late hit on Danny Amendola, who was still in bounds when London left his feet to hit him. And that one there should not have been a penalty when they hit Robert Griffin III.
So the 6th-round draft pick Morris picks up 6 on 2nd and 4. Morris again with a lot of room down the sideline, inside the 25, down to the 20. Alfred Morris from Florida Atlantic, the Owls' all-time leading rusher, a 27-yard gain.
And watch the lane they get for him. They get the kick-out block here and then get the offensive lineman up on James Laurinaitis. You see, there's the kick out on Chris Long. Then you get your offensive guard, Chris Chester, number 66, on James Laurinaitis, and there's a big alleyway for the rookie runner, Alfred Morris.
And Morris, who started 4th on the depth chart when he was drafted, has moved on up as the starter. Had 96 yards and a couple of touchdowns last week. Here's RG3. Hit out of bounds inside the 15. Again, it's Jolan Dunbar who was able to race with him. We apologize if any language got on the air by the sidelines that maybe you might not.
Did I just hear Robert Griffin say he's leading with his helmet? I thought I heard Robert Griffin say that. Robert, when you cross the line of scrimmage as a runner, players can lead with their helmets. Now, they can't launch, they can't spear, they can't put their head down, but when you become a runner crossing the line of scrimmage, you're going to get hit with the defense's helmet.
2nd down, 6. Alfred Morris remains the back. Leonard Hankerson in at wide receiver as Morris carries. And the Rams eventually get to him down around the 10-yard line, so they bring up a 3rd down. Ball coming out at the end there with Craig Dahl, but it was whistled down. It's been a feisty first quarter. Injuries, guys getting after each other. A fumble run back for a touchdown by Josh Wilson. A Greg Zuerlein field goal. Danny Amendola has been all over the field with 7 catches for Jeff Fisher's team. But he also had the fumble. 3 receivers on the left side on 3rd and 2. Pass knocked incomplete. Janoris Jenkins with excellent coverage on Leonard Hankerson. And there's a flag back at the 16-yard line.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness on the defense, number 94. Half the distance, automatic, first down.
The call is on Robert Quinn, Ram defensive end. I'd like to see the personal foul. At least we got the number this time from referee Wayne Elliott. And Jeff Fisher's probably wondering the same thing.
Well, Jeff's looking up on the Jumbotron here and getting a look at the play.
But the Redskins have been able to take advantage. It's 1st and goal from the 5. Morgan splits out to the right. Morris the back. Hankerson on the left.
This is where the speed of Robert Griffin and the misdirection stuff and him out on an edge can kill a defense.
With 2 tight ends. Robert Griffin has it, and that's a touchdown for RG3. His first career rushing touchdown after he had such a spectacular debut last week, throwing a couple of touchdown passes.
And his speed just kills you on the edge. And Cortland Finnegan gets held big time there by Niles Paul. But the speed of Robert Griffin III, once he gets you outflanked and creates any type of leverage for himself, he just got too much juice. You're not going to stay with it. Very good play call.
Billy Cundiff with the extra points. RG3 as good as advertised when it came time to get it into the end zone. Ram fans upset with the penalties on this drive, as the rookie from Baylor, 6'2", 215, takes it in. You know, it's funny, he was telling us the ball, he likes to run, but the ball travels faster and farther through the air.
Actually, his favorite play, and as you said, he loves to run, but he loves the play action stuff. And you got to get your run game going. You got to get the defense thinking run, and then he's very good with those fakes, and then loves to turn around and pop it to his wide receivers with his arm.
Well, you like the Ram offensive approach so far, Tim?
I do. I think it's the way you do it. I think you got to keep the Redskins off balance. I think you got to spread them out. I think you got to go fast pass with Sam Bradford. You got to keep him upright and healthy, especially now, Chris, with Roger Saffold out of the game. If there's one thing we know the Redskins can do, is they can send pressure from everywhere with those outside linebackers and those inside linebackers. So I expect more of the same. It's going to be run, spread them out, fast pass for Sam Bradford to keep him out of harm's way.
And the Rams trailing by 11 points, and it happened in a hurry. Obviously the touchdown after the fumble, but then Robert Griffin III being able to add to that.
Well, I think the Rams are playing hard for sure, and the wave of emotion has not kept them down like historically it would have. But I also think they've missed some opportunities. The challenge in the end zone that I thought they should have challenged, and certainly the bad spot by the official.
Billy Cundiff boots it. Isaiah Peed will fumble it, but down it. So the Ram offense at the 20. That was an 80-yard drive covering 10 plays in just over 4 minutes. And they're still pushing and shoving down there.
Yeah, and 2 personal fouls kept it going on the drive. The late hit on Robert Griffin III, and then the personal foul on Robert Quinn down near the goal line.
The new AP rankings coming out Saturday. College football on Fox. We hope you join us. Kick it off with the Fox College Saturday pregame show. Then a couple of unbeaten teams clash. 15th ranked Kansas State in Norman to take on the Oklahoma Sooners, where Sam Bradford used to play. 6th ranked, it's the Big 12 opener for both teams. 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific on Fox. 19 seconds to go in the opening quarter. Steven Jackson carries, fighting hard for a Ram first down. And that should bring an end to the opening quarter. A quarter lit up with penalty flags. And a touchdown run from Robert Griffin III following a Josh Wilson return of a fumble for a score. It's the end of the opening quarter in St. Louis. The Redskins lead the Rams 14-3. Starting the second quarter, the Rams trailing 14-3, 1st and 10 from their own 32-yard line. Steven Jackson with a carry and has room. Runs into his own man, up there another. First down for the Rams at the 42-yard line. Each team, by the way, with 3 penalties called on both the Rams and Redskins.
Yeah, and each team trying to add a little insult to injury when they get a guy down. Watch this on Robert Griffin III. Jolon Dunbar jamming his head in the ground a little bit.
Rams are going with a quick hurry-up, no huddle as they get to the line on 2nd and 1.
We left. Even Illinois.
Boy, they are having a lot of success, not a lot of opportunity or not a lot of attempts, but they are running the ball well against the Redskins.
Here comes a flag.
And that kills you on 2nd and 1.
Ball start. Offense number 62. 5-yard penalty. Remains 2nd down.
One of the dangers of trying to run the no huddle when you have an offensive line that's been reshuffled. That was on the veteran Harvey Dahl.
Who was not part of the reshuffling. No excuse.
The one mainstay.
They practiced like I said, all week. There's no excuse for that.
Scott Wells, the Pro Bowl center, injured last week. That's why Rob Turner had to step into his spot. Second down, 6. Kenny Amendola for a first down catch. And let's check in with Patrick O'Neill.
Chris, of interest to those Skins fans is how Dallas would play at Seattle. Not a great start until this. Tony Romo lays it up. Miles Austin, that would be confirmed a touchdown. Right now the score is Seattle 10. Dallas 10-7 is the score. Back to you. 59 for Mike.
Thanks, Patrick. And the no huddle to the line, something Sam Bradford said he thought they would have won more of last week against Detroit on 1st and 10. Jackson met there for maybe a 1-yard loss. Ryan Kerrigan making the tackle.
Well, I love the no huddle for a variety of reasons, to be honest with you. Number one, it gets the quarterback into a rhythm. Number two, it really sterilizes the defensive coordinator and all of his scheme calls, and we know there's a lot of scheme with the Washington Redskins. And thirdly, it gets these pass rushers breathing hard and gets them tired.
2nd and 11.
Like 20. Like 20.
Bradford's pass, he was hit as he released it, incomplete, and Stephen Bowen applying the pressure.
And that's about the longest Sam Bradford, when in the pocket, has held the ball. I mean, that ball's been coming out in about 2 seconds, and Stephen Bowen just destroys Quinn Ojanaka here, number 72. And look at that power. Oh, my goodness. He just fakes outside. Now, Quinn Ojanaka just got back. He was cut in training camp, and he just got bulldozed by Stephen Bowen.
59 is the mic.
A 3rd down test for Bradford, who said we've got answers for every defensive strategy they throw at us. Wide open is Brandon Gibson. That's a 1st down inside the 40 of the Redskins.
And if you're going to play zone against Sam Bradford, who can stand in the pocket and stand tall at 6'5", those zones are going to break down if you don't get pass rush. And they are just picking apart these zone defenses being deployed by Jim Haslett defensively for the Redskins.
Gibson was the star last week with 4 catches and a touchdown. They go back to the line after a gain of 19. Bradford for Amendola, incomplete. And London Fletcher had a shot at the deflection, but he was zeroing in on the receiver.
Well, you just knew it was a matter of time. As I was just talking about all the zone defenses and just rushing 4 guys, that Jim Haslett was going to dial up some pressure. And that time, I think it was just great anticipation, thinking that Sam Bradford was going to try to move out of the pocket, and they sent the safety off the edge to John Gomes. Bradford had to get rid of the ball.
Rams keeping it away from the Redskin offense. Steven Jackson straight up the middle. All the way down to the 17 of Washington.
Chris just talked about the pressure from the Redskins. They also love to run blitz, and they get caught here. Look at the left of your screen, 59 London Fletcher coming on a blitz. Runs right by Steven Jackson. There's a gaping hole because of the blitz for Steven to pick up another big chunk of yards.
And when you said that was a 20-yard gain, when you told Jeff Fisher, you know Jim Haslett, he's going to bring it, Fisher smiled and said,
bring it. We got answers. So far, they've had some answers.
Daryl Richardson, the rookie, checks in on 1st and 10.
Lock it. Move it.
Pass behind the receiver and incomplete. It was for the rookie, Brian Quick. At 6'3", the 2nd-round draft choice from Appalachian State, a big target for Bradford.
And this is the area of the field. Jimmy Haslett will bring pressure all over the place, but especially when they get their backs to the wall. You know, down in their own territory when the opponent's in the red zone. He loves to dial up quick pressures to make the quarterback get rid of the ball quick.
10th play of this drive for the Rams. That's Daryl Richardson. The rookie stopped hard at the 10-yard line by Madieu Williams, who had to come up from his safety spot.
Give that offensive line some credit. And it doesn't matter if it's been Steven Jackson or Daryl Richardson there with his first carry. They're running about 8 or 9 yards a clip.
And the Rams, Brian Schottenheimer, the offensive coordinator, said when Steven Jackson needs a break, that's when we want to go to Richardson. He reminds us a little bit of a Steven Jackson.
What's interesting, Chris, about it is Isaiah Peed was their second-round pick, and here the late pick, Daryl Richardson, basically beat him out in training camp for playing time.
On third down, Bradford's throw is caught for a first down. Knocked out inside the 5. Danny Amendola. 9th catch of the game.
I just don't know how you cover Danny Amendola in a short area. He is a Wes Welker clone. Watch this little out route he's going to run on D'Angelo Hall. Now D'Angelo's got his eyes peeking in the backfield because they're in a form of zone defense. But Danny Amendola, when he sticks that foot in the ground and makes his break, not a lot of guys with those quicks that can stay up with him.
First and goal from the 4. Steven Jackson back in. Rams trailing by 11. That's Gibson in motion. Steven Jackson. And no. To the goal line. DeJon Gomes up from the safety spot to make sure that 6'2" frame of Jackson didn't lunge forward anymore.
Well, you got to give the Rams a lot of credit, mentally and emotionally. Good blocking up front. Steven Jackson just runs over to Sean Gomes. That ball looked like it may have crossed the plane before his knee was actually down. Very close. But Jeff Fisher has got these guys cranked up now. And you know, over the last couple of years, if they get into this position, started the game the way they did, mentally they'd be in trouble. Not anymore with Jeff Fisher calling the shots.
The Rams have called a timeout.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Chevrolet. From kickoff to the last yard, Chevy runs deep. By Burger King and our delicious new line of salad wraps. And by Taken 2, starring Liam Neeson. The man with a particular set of skills is back.
13th play of this drive for the Rams. 6 runs, 6 throws, trailing by 11 here in the second quarter.
Lance Kendricks, the tight end, has not been targeted yet. He's lined up at the left side.
Steven Jackson, still no signal.
That ball's out.
Came out as he went forward. Rams have already lost 1 fumble in this game. That one returned for a touchdown by Josh Wilson. Kerrigan came up with the football. And it does belong to the Redskins. Ryan Kerrigan with the recovery for Mike Shanahan's team.
Look at London Fletcher just flying over the top. Oh no, his left elbow's down. That's not a fumble. Left elbow is down by Steven Jackson. That is not a fumble.
Jeff Fisher hesitant to challenge.
He's still got that ball in his arm.
Here comes the flag from Jeff Fisher. You got to challenge that one.
Absolutely. And Jeff Fisher did just challenge. The ball's in his right arm, possessed, secure when that whole left elbow and left arm's down on the ground. Steven Jackson had it right. He said he was down.
It was 2nd and goal after Jackson ran it inside the 1.
Yeah, he was clearly down before that ball started to move and come loose.
Ruled a fumble on the field. Recovery Ryan Kerrigan.
Previous play is under review.
It's worth pointing out that there are opportunities for the Rams to challenge here. Reviewing the fumble ruled on the field, but every turnover is reviewed automatically by officials.
Well, really a bunch of errors here by the head coach, Jeff Fisher, which is uncommon. Number one, you said it, turnovers are automatically reviewed. So he wasted a challenge, throwing the challenge flag. But on top of that, in reality, by the NFL rulebook, he should have been penalized for throwing a challenge flag on a play that's automatically reviewed upstairs.
That would be a 15-yarder, and these guys are already going at each other, even during a review. Rams and Redskins, they're not in the same division, but for the 5th straight year, they have played each other. And there is some carryover. Let's take another look at the play. He looks down.
The arm is clearly down. He's still got possession of the ball. This is not a fumble.
But now do you...
But call the fumble, it automatically goes upstairs for review.
But they weren't reviewing it, so Fisher, does he get penalized either way? after he throws the challenge flag.
Like I said, I think it's a multitude of errors, both from the officials and from Coach Fisher, which is very unusual for him.
You got a fired up crowd. You got two hungry teams. And you got an official that has had his hands full, not only throwing the flag, but
For
separating.
further review, the player was down by contact at the 1-yard line. He put 9:03 back on the clock. Clock will wind on the radio. It'll be second down.
Well, if the goal is to get it right.
And you know what? These guys, these replacement guys, are doing the best that they can, but that's how complicated the NFL rules can be in trying to make decisions in a matter of seconds. I don't think they got any chance consistently to get it right like they need to.
So it is 3rd and goal. Rams keep the football, and Mike Shanahan doesn't like that after he saw Ryan Kerrigan come out of there with the football. He might be arguing what you said, that you challenge something that's not challengeable, you get a 15-yard penalty, and that would take the Rams back to the 16-yard line.
And I think that's what they're talking about right now. The referees are huddling up. And there are folks here that are consulting with these guys to make sure they get it right on the sideline. Guys that know the rule book in and out.
Howard Slavin, the replay maven.
And that's what Mike Shanahan's yelling. He threw his flag.
But if it's an error by the official, or at least an incorrect call.
Number 60 has reported eligible.
So Ty and Secchi comes in, backup tackle. And
He threw it. What are you doing?
we all saw it. That's what Mike said. 14th play of this drive, and a little added drama.
Now we got the official signaling timeout down here on the sideline.
The crowd was antsy. They were making sure it's 3rd down. We had a play in the Arizona-Seattle game last week where they lost track of downs.
None of that would have ever happened if they would have just immediately gone upstairs to review like they're supposed to on a turnover.
3rd and goal. Steven Jackson. No signal. No fumble. Steven Jackson is out of there with his arms up. He just spiked the football in frustration. Be careful you don't get an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty. And here comes the flag. Man, oh man.
Unsportsmanlike conduct. Offense number 39. 15-yard penalty. 4th down.
Jackson thought he had scored, wasn't called a touchdown, and spiked the ball in frustration.
Well, he up under London Fletcher again, and he's driving himself into the end zone. Let's look at the bottom of the pile. And there's no way you can tell, at least from this angle, whether or not Steven Jackson crossed the plane or not. Now there, the ball is across the plane, and his knees were not down. And I think the last surge by the Redskins, look at the ball.
But if you're Steven Jackson, spiking the football is the last thing you want to do. Cost your team yardage.
Well, not just yardage, the opportunity for points. Now they got to settle for 3. How long have we been talking about the Rams? For it seems like years now. They got to get touchdowns, not field goals, when they get down in scoring position.
33-yard field goal try. The rookie Greg Zuerlein, who has not missed this year, 4 out of 4. And he's perfect once again. The crowd is upset, and so is Steven Jackson. Rams only get 3 on a close call at the goal line. The Redskins leading in St. Louis 14-6.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Chevrolet. From kickoff to the last yard, Chevy runs deep.
Along with Tim Ryan, Chris Myers, and hope you're enjoying the NFL on Fox. Jeff Fisher and Mike Shanahan have had their hands full with some feisty teams and some officiating. 5 penalties on the Rams, 3 on the Redskins. A couple of turnovers by the Rams, and they trail 14-6. Robert Griffin III has attempted 4 passes and he's run 4 times. The Rams have had the football most of the time. Zerline picks off and Brandon Banks will down it. Redskins come out to the 20-yard line. We welcome in our Fox rules analyst from the command center, Mike Pereira. And Mike, help us with some clarification here.
I'll tell you, here's clarification. You really need to get the regular refs back on the field because the things are not getting enforced properly. Jeff Fisher cannot throw the challenge flag on that play because it's automatically looked at by the replay official upstairs. That's the new rule, that all plays that are ruled a turnover, a fumble recovered by the defense automatically becomes reviewable. So they somehow let him get away with that 15-yard penalty. And a spike in the end zone, if that ball never got a close look, but if it was in the end zone, that's not a foul either. Too many things are happening in this game that are just not good.
On 1st and 10, Robert Griffin III. The short pass complete to Santana Moss. Mike, go ahead if you wanted to finish your thought.
I couldn't agree with you more, Mike, on everything you just said, by the way.
You know, I mean, it's really, I mean, I understand what's going on here, but you have to look at some of the games and some of the things today and say, you know, we just need to make some progress here on both sides and get this thing closer to a resolution because that first quarter that we've had in your game just was not good.
Mike, I want to ask you, if Fisher doesn't see them reviewing the turnover, does he have an option? But let's run this on 2nd down. As the pitch goes to Alfred Morris, who is brought down by Cortland Finnegan. So what about it, Mike?
He has no option. The fact that it was ruled a turnover, ruled a fumble, ruled recovered by the defense means he has no option whatsoever. It's just like a scoring play. If it's ruled a score, you cannot challenge that. That's for the official upstairs to decide, and it's a 15-yard penalty no matter when you throw it.
Thank you, Mike, for clarifying as best you could. What a mess on 3rd and 7. Robert Griffin III floats one short underneath to Joshua Morgan, who does a nice job to get the Redskin first down.
The athleticism of Robert Griffin III, just so nonchalantly. Chris Long was right behind him. I mean, reaching, grabbing cloth by his fingernail, trying to get on Robert Griffin III. As you watch here, Long's going to run the corner and does a great job. They're trying to keep Griffin in the pocket. But watch as he reaches out, and it looks like he just got a finger on him, and Robert, because he's got such outstanding skills and quickness, doesn't even think about the guy behind him trying to bring him down and unloads the ball for a first down.
He has a touchdown run in this game. He's set to throw and going deep down the middle of the field, and he's got him. Leonard Hankerson for a Redskin touchdown. No Griffining, but he threw a beautiful pass for 68 yards and a score. There is a flag in the end zone.
Well, he beats Janoris Jenkins like a drum. And a little stutter and stop, and look at the gap of separation. Perfect throw by Robert Griffin III. And did he go down on his own in the end zone? That's going to be the question of what the penalty was. What a great throw to a wide open Leonard Hankerson. Looks like he just picked up his flag because it looked like the actual hit by Janoris Jenkins knocked Hankerson to the ground.
And automatically scoring plays confirmed as Billy Cundiff comes on for the extra point. And now it's 21-6 Washington. For Hankerson, his first career touchdown reception. That's the 3rd career touchdown toss for Griffin III. Last year, the Redskins had no receiver that caught a pass and ran it into the end zone for a touchdown. They had 2 last week and Leonard Hankerson on another one, but the flag thrown and then picked up. He clearly scored, but there was a bit more celebration than normal.
Well, he went down at first, and I don't think it was on his own, so they picked the flag up, but they should have ended up calling a flag later when he celebrated with his teammate and went to the ground.
Chris Gibbons watches the boot go to the back of the end zone. The Rams come out to the 20-yard line. It's been an eventful first half, and while the Redskins get touchdowns, the Rams wind up with field goals. This week, baseball's postseason battle continues. The National League wild card, a little crazy. Braves and Phillies among the teams you'll see. The Dodgers in the mix. Cardinals are in the hunt as well. Fox Saturday Baseball this week at 3:30 Eastern, 12:30 Pacific. And in Washington, yeah, they're buzzing about Robert Griffin III. But not only Steven Strasburg, but Bryce Harper and those first-place Washington Nationals. We'll see them in the postseason.
Well, they've been back in Washington, 8 years? First opportunity for a little postseason baseball play.
Darrell Richardson the back. Bradford fakes to him. And down the middle, he's got wide open, is Danny Amendola. And he's still going. All the way inside the 25 of Washington. He already has 10 catches, and that a 56-yard catch and carry.
What did he tell us the other day? That he was agitated. The whole team was agitated at how they lost to the Detroit Lions. And the fire was burning out on the practice field all week long. Danny Amendola is showing up big time. Jim Haslett's got to find an answer for him. You cannot play zone coverage, it appears, in this game against Danny Amendola, because he's going to window shop. When I say that, he's going to find the open windows. He's going to be right there for his quarterback, Sam Bradford.
Richardson carries. Redskins are right there for him. Rob Jackson, who came in for Orakpo, who was out for a while and then came back. Redskins playing without Adam Carricker up front, who suffered the knee injury. And the Rams on the offensive line are missing Roger Saffold, who went down with an injury.
Well, I got to give the offensive line some credit. And I thought they played well last week against the Lions. This is a whole different animal with this 3-down, 4 linebacker front they're playing against. 69 there, Quinn Ojanaka. He was just brought back. He's having a heck of a game in the run blocking.
Amendola with his first 100-yard receiving game in his career. On 2nd and 10, Richardson comes out to the left as a receiver. They spread him out. Bradford's throw. That's another catch for Danny Amendola. Very much like Wes Welker. You mentioned they went to Texas Tech, the same college, but not at the same time. And they communicate to each other. He told us, Welker, I studied his videotape when he was at Tech. And then I watched him closely, and we meet up in the offseason and often discuss this position.
Yeah, he still watches them now, even Wes Welker as a pro. A lot of similarities with those two guys in terms of their quickness in and out of their short to intermediate routes.
3rd and 8 for Sam Bradford.
They're going to try to zone Amendola off again.
Middle of the field, that's a first down catch inside the 10. Lance Kendricks with his first grab of the game.
Well, I said it earlier, Chris. He had not even been targeted in this game, Lance Kendricks, and they get no hands on him. I mean, nothing on a tight end. You give a tight end who's lined up as the end man on the line of scrimmage a free release, which means you don't hit him at all. He just ran right to the middle part of that open zone, that void, and Sam Bradford found him pitch and catch.
14-yard gain, 1st and goal for the Rams at the 8-yard line. They've been down this road before. Richardson carries. Straight ahead, gets inside the 5-yard line. Since Steven Jackson spiked the football in anger and had the Rams penalized, he has not been back to run the football.
Well, they've got to get touchdowns here now, and they've been down here already a few times. Red zone, they were brutal last year. They only penetrated it once last week in terms of being down inside the 20. This has got to end up being a touchdown for them, and I'm sure the Washington Redskins are going to put 2 guys on Danny Amendola, which is going to leave somebody else open one-on-one.
That's Darrell Richardson, cut down at the goal line by Madieu Williams. It'll be 3rd and goal for the Rams. Got to be thinking 4-down territory.
D'Angelo Hall's been fighting with everybody in the first 2 quarters of this game. See, that's what happens when you get moved into, you play corner and you get closer to the line of scrimmage. Now you got to deal with all the big fellas in there. Mixing it up.
trailing 21-6.
Got this if they want it.
Bradford, end zone, caught, and yes, touchdown Rams. It's Danny Amendola. Who else?
Remember how I was talking a minute ago about getting hands on guys when they're releasing from the line of scrimmage? You're on the 3-yard line and you don't get your hands on Danny Amendola and give him a free release into the end zone, you got no chance.
A career high 12 catches now and 133 total receiving yards. That 12 equals his career high. Remember, he lost that fumble that Josh Wilson ran back on the first play from scrimmage for the Rams. That gave Washington the 7-0 lead.
I love the way after that fumble on the first play, they just kept feeding him, kept giving him the ball. And he's one of those guys who wants it every time.
Zerline with the extra point, the rookie punter, the holder, and everything goes smoothly there. So Sam Bradford with the touchdown toss. And Jeff Fisher's Rams trail 21-13. Danny Amendola equaling his career high with 13 catches, getting into the end zone. An undrafted free agent from Texas Tech who had to fight his way through. He was briefly with the Dallas Cowboys.
I'll tell you this, if Jim Haslett doesn't change his approach and how they're going to defend him and get some hands on him at the line of scrimmage and maybe play a little more man coverage with some help behind it, Danny Amendola may have 25 catches in this game.
And his catches, in case you're wondering, the Ram record, Tom Fears with 18 catches in one game. As Zerline kicks off. Brandon Marshall, the NFL record, with 21 receptions in one game. We haven't hit the half yet. We're under the 2-minute warning. And Amendola already has a dozen catches. Coming up on the Visa halftime report, the guys will have all the highlights from around the league. The Giants and Buccaneers in a wild one. The Cardinals upset the Patriots in New England. How about Carolina? The Saints are 0-2. And they'll update you on the Cowboys and Seahawks. It's coming up on the Visa halftime report. All your fantasy stats and highlights. We mentioned Tom Fears and his 18 catches in one game, a Ram record.
You know, there's always a fire.
There's a flag down.
Burning in Danny Amendola. But after that fumble, I think that fire got stoked.
And Sam Bradford having a smooth game, 15 of 21. As you said, kept getting the ball to him.
Well, I love the plan. I mean, it is all about fast pass, getting it out in about 2.5 seconds for Sam Bradford, and it's being executed perfectly versus all the zone coverage he's seen.
So with the penalty, offsides against the Rams, they're going to make him kick it again rather than tack on 5. The hope that Brandon Banks will bust one.
And I got to tell you, a bit surprised with all the zone coverage. Typically, you're going to see more man coverage against quarterbacks that don't have real good mobility skills that you're worried about crossing the line of scrimmage as a runner. I know the Redskins aren't worried about that with Sam Bradford. I think they're making it easy on him by sitting back playing generic zone coverages.
And maybe what they're discussing. Sam Bradford, meanwhile, with Steven Jackson, who has 8 carries for 58 yards, including a 20-yard run, but has not been back in since that spiking penalty, and Darrell Richardson has carried the load.
Chris, they other than the scoreboard, they have dominated this game in total yards in terms of time of possession.
Yeah, they've had it twice as long as the Redskins.
And that was the story of the Redskins last week, had it almost 40 minutes against the New Orleans Saints. The script is flipped today on Washington.
Zerline, after the penalty, backs him up. This time Banks will have a chance to return. And the Rams special teams bring him down just across the 20-yard line. That was a good move by Bradley Fletcher to keep Banks from gaining any more yardage. All 3 timeouts for Washington. They gave out mustaches. Jeff Fisher has been nominated by the American Mustache Institute. And yes, Tim, there really is one for the Robert Goulet Award. Because he said Jeff Fisher told us he hadn't shaved since high school, that mustache. So all the fans got a free Jeff Fisher mustache to wear to the game.
Peppered with a little gray.
He said, "I'm here to talk about the Redskins."
Yeah, I think he was a bit embarrassed by that, actually.
On first down, Robert Griffin completes the pass to Hankerson, who had the touchdown catch of 68 yards moments ago. Robert Griffin III, he wears that sleeve. Now, he said the glove, he always wore the glove because in the 7th grade, on one hand, he was a fan of Michael Jackson, the entertainer, but he had an injury and wore that sleeve. And even after the injury healed, he liked the one-sleeve look.
Well, it's cooking now. It's cooking because my son's a high school football player in California out on the West Coast, and every Friday night when there's games, there's at least, I don't know, 8 to 10 kids that are wearing the RG3 sleeve on their arm.
On 2nd and 10, they run the screen to Roy Halou. And he is knocked down right away. And to bring up 3rd down is Jolan Dunbar, who's been everywhere for the Rams in the first half, makes the play.
Well, what an acquisition in the offseason in free agency coming up from the New Orleans Saints. And they knew anytime this guy gets in the backfield early, screen alert, watch Jolan Dunbar get into his drop and then just accelerate and go get it before the offensive lineman can get out to him. Really impressive.
It's 3rd and 10.
It's a lot easier to defend a play, Chris, if you anticipate what's coming at you. I know that he anticipated the screen now.
And a timeout was called before.
Timeout, Washington.
Before the clock ran out. So the Redskins will have 2 timeouts remaining, as will the Rams. With a touchdown catch, but a 3rd down for Robert Griffin III. He's going to run it. A 1st down across the 35-yard line. As Robert Griffin III told us, as the Redskins use another timeout, part of the sleeve and the glove was he remembered what Deion Sanders said about if you look good, you feel good.
If you feel good, you play good. And if you play good, you get paid good.
You know, when you talk to him, he has style in a natural, he's got a winning smile anyway, but he just has style naturally.
Well,
there's an aura. Too hard.
No, there's an aura about him for sure. And you can sense that right when he walks in the room. I talked about it in the open in terms of his confidence. He's unbelievably intelligent. This guy's a thesis away from getting his master's degree in college.
And he wants to do it on digital media and film, which is kind of a virtual reality, so you could go to a video game and play football through just a headset. He's the only guy, I think, who ever used plethora in a production meeting with us. And according to the records, that is the first.
Or plethora?
Plethora, I think is how it is.
Yeah.
That's it. Tomato. Plethora is the correct one.
Didn't we have this argument last year with futile and futile?
Graduated 3 years from high school, 3.5 years with a degree in college. And he's doing what he likes to do. That pass is intercepted by Cortland Finnegan.
Well, great pick by Cortland Finnegan, but I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to give the credit to Chris Long. Chris Long is having a whale of a game with his power. He's just not pressing the edge. Watch the power on Tyler Columbus, the right tackle, which is going to affect the throw of Robert Griffin III. Bang, right under his pads. Griffin's got to float to the side, try to unload it. Never saw Cortland Finnegan. They looked like they had some form of double coverage on Fred Davis, but that all started with the power rush of Chris Long at left defensive end.
That's the first career interception thrown by Robert Griffin III for Finnegan, his 2nd pick of the year in the 2nd game. Radford's throwing wide open to Steve Smith at the 33-yard line. Washington, no timeouts. Rams have 2. Washington with 1 timeout. The Rams have 2 remaining.
And there they are, the little yellow lights you see under the team name.
2nd down 2. Radford's going to run it. Gets a 1st down. Slides inside the 20. And here comes a Ram timeout. First and 10 Rams after a 12-yard gain. Let's get an update with Patrick O'Neill.
All right, Chris, let's go to Heinz Field, and Ben Roethlisberger hitting his old friend Heath Miller, 1-yard touchdown, and the Steelers up on the Jets 13-10, 44 seconds until halftime. Chris and Tim.
Thanks, Patrick. One timeout for each of these teams, and that turnover by the Redskins, by the way, last week they were turnover free in their win against the Saints, and that snapped a string of 30 consecutive games in which Washington had turned the ball over at least once or more, and it puts the Rams in excellent position here as Brian Schottenheimer has a fresh set of downs and 18 seconds to work with plus the timeout.
Well, how much do they love the acquisition of Cortland Finnegan? 10 tackles, a pick, a touchdown last week, and he's at it again today. And not just so much in coverage as a guy who can, go make plays on the ball. He is outstanding in run support as well. Great pickup in the offseason.
Wherever Danny Amendola is, if I'm a Redskin, I'm going to pay close attention. Middle of the field, that's Steve Smith. Clock will run, and the Rams are going to use their last timeout.
See, now Danny Amendola is going to end up being a decoy in some situations where you send him vertical, he's going to end up taking a couple defenders with him, and then you just run a little slant route underneath.
After a pickup of 6, you have 11 seconds, but no timeout. So you either take a shot at the end zone here, make sure you don't get sacked, as Zerline, who has yet to miss as a pro.
Well, that's the big thing now is taking a sack. You take a sack here, you're going to lose the opportunity to get points. You can't run it. I think you take 2 shots at the end zone. It's second down. You can take 2 here and then come in and kick the field goal, but the ball has got to travel over the goal line. You cannot risk anything up in front of the goal line.
Rams have trailed from the start. Josh Wilson, a fumble return for a touchdown. Robert Griffin III, a touchdown run, and a 68-yard touchdown throw to Leonard Henderson. Amendola reached the end zone for the Rams.
The Redskins know exactly that, as they got everybody sitting in the end zone.
And he's getting rid of it. Here comes a flag after the throw. Inside the 24-yard line.
Holding, offense number 72.
Wayne Hunter, free agent pickup, who was run out of New York.
Now you just kick it. You don't even take another risk here.
With 7 seconds, you don't want to make this a longer field goal than you have to for the rookie Zerline.
Well, Mike Shanahan is flustered.
It's a 10-yard penalty. Replay, second down.
Yeah, there's the hold. He's got his hands outside the frame of Rob Jackson. That's actually a good call. You can start outside, but you got to get your hands back inside. Wayne Hunter never did that.
A 42-yard try. He was 3 of 3 last week, including a couple of 40-yarders. Greg Zerline, the rookie, 2 of 2 today. Rookie holder is the punter, Johnny Henry. Whistle blows before the kick.
Is this a Shanahan freeze? Classic.
It might be. He was also asking about a runoff.
Before the kick, timeout, Washington. 30-second timeout.
Here's the Shanahan freeze. He'll look at the official. Timeout, right before he's going to kick it.
Seven seconds remain. Zerline, a terrific story that Jeff Fisher said he'll set an NFL record one day. And if we get a chance to try a 65-yarder somewhere down the line, we will with him. He made a 60-yarder in pregame warm-ups with ease.
Well, I guarantee you that'll be all about game situation. If they're down in the game and it's late, you're not given that kind of field position. But in a situation, Chris, where it doesn't matter, they'll let that guy go for it.
A 42-yard try after the timeout to get the Rams a little bit closer. They had trailed the entire first half. The kick. He got it. He worked it in there.
That thing had velocity on it. It looked like it was going to hook to the left, and it just had a vapor trail right between the uprights.
2 seconds remain. We are told that the sound when he kicks the football, the sound is so different than what you hear from most kickers. How strong his leg is and how violently his foot beats the football.
Sounded like you hitting the one wood, Chris.
And it usually goes way to the left.
Look at this thing. As it was starting to hook to the left, it just decided I'm going to straighten back out and slam right inside the upright.
So in a first half filled with some officiating inconsistency, I'll be polite.
They've been awful.
Okay.
They've been awful, really. And even the penalty on Steven Jackson should not have been a penalty as he spiked it in the end zone. They've really played a part in taking points off the board for the St. Louis Rams. But I got to tell you how impressed I am with St. Louis, with all the adversity, all the issues on the field, with an injury to their left tackle, with the way the game started. They get down by a touchdown right away on the first play with a fumble that's picked up by the Redskins, and they have done nothing but battle themselves right back into this game.
And Robert Griffin III, despite the interception, has been impressive as well, having Jeff Fisher throw a lot of different defenses at him, having run for a touchdown and thrown for one. And this should end the half. Banks picks it up and downs it. Redskins will get the football to start the second half. Tim Ryan, Chris Myers enjoying the Rams and Redskins. Let's go to Kurt Menefee for the Visa halftime report.
It's time to get back to football
With NFL on Fox.
Couple of Ram legends. Jeff Fisher wants to get this franchise back to winning. Thought they had one in their opener on the road, the home opener now, getting ready for the second half. You can follow your favorite team all season long. Go to itunes.com/NFL.
And I think that's the beauty of Jeff Fisher, and he's just not going to let his team get down despite the circumstances. I mean, whether it was the referees, whether it was bad execution, whether it was Robert Griffin making outstanding plays, Jeff's just not going to have it. And I love that because it's a refuse-to-lose mentality.
He said on the plane ride back last week, don't let anybody tell you it was okay. Because
right.
We didn't win the game, and that's what this is about. Second half, Zerline drops it in there at the 15-yard line. Niles Paul picks it up. And the special teams play pins the Redskins at the 15. Greg Gall got there first. Tim Ryan, Chris Myers, and hope you're enjoying the NFL on Fox. We certainly are. A lot of excitement. Your impressions, and I think that was the question with Robert Griffin III. What does he do for an encore after the big win in New Orleans? First half assessment.
Well, I think he's everything he's advertised to be. And I talked about trying to contain him, keep him in the pocket, make him throw from the pocket. He's been brilliant out of the pocket in this game. 8 for 11. Yards per attempt is way up. He's also rushed 5 times for 30 yards a pop. So he's impressive, and he will give these guys problems here in the second half.
And he's maintained his cool when the hot heads were loose. Alfred Morris on first down. And Robert Quinn running him back. Let's check in on the field with Jamie Maggio.
Thanks, Chris. You know, you're just talking about Washington's offensive efforts in New Orleans last week. I asked Jeff Fisher, how will you contain them in the second half? He said, don't forget, we gave them their first 7 points. All we need to do is eliminate the big plays and force them into third down situations. Chris, Tim, back up to you guys.
Thanks very much, Jamie. On second down 7. Remember, no Pierre Garçon, inactive with that pain in his right foot after he had a touchdown catch last week. There's a flag.
False start. Offense number 78. 5-yard penalty. Replay, second down.
Call on Corey Lichtensteiger, so that's the 4th penalty for Washington. The Rams, 7 penalties for 60 yards.
Now look at the time of possession advantage for the St. Louis Rams and almost doubling up the Washington Redskins. Washington, 24 plays in the first half. Really unable to get their running game into a rhythm. As much as we love Robert Griffin III and all the excitement he's going to bring as a dynamic playmaker, this team will always rely heavily on the run game. They have not been able to get it cranked up with the time they've had.
Evan Royster checks in at running back. A weird snap to the tight end, Fred Davis.
That was a busted play.
It'll be third down.
I can't imagine that was supposed to happen, especially by the reaction of Robert Griffin after he saw Fred get it.
Kyle Shanahan calling the signals for Mike Shanahan.
And there's 83, Fred Davis. You'll see him come in motion behind the line of scrimmage, and he doesn't know whether to stop or keep going. That looked like a mental error by Fred Davis. He was lucky he was able to corral that.
On 3rd and 11. Griffin III. Completes to Niles Paul. It'll be 4th down.
Look at the feisty tackler that Cortland Finnegan is. And you know what, Chris? That's where he's going to bring something to the table and selling the message to the rest of the defense and really the entire St. Louis Rams. I was just talking about Jeff Fisher's the refuse to lose mentality. Finnegan's got those same traits.
Went out and signed him right away as a free agent. South Rockers punt. And Amendola with a move straight ahead across the 36-yard line. He has tied his career high with 12 catches in this game, and he set a new career high with yardage, 133 yards receiving for Danny Amendola. But Jeff Fisher and the underdog Rams are battling back.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. By the all-new Dodge Dart. Dodge. New rules. And by the Samsung Galaxy S3. The next big thing is here.
We welcome you back to St. Louis. Rams with the football. They've scored on their last 3 possessions. This is their first of the second half. Field goal, touchdown, field goal. They trail by 5. Bradford has it. And the ball's tipped and incomplete. Looked like Stephen Bowen got his hands up.
I'll tell you something that's interesting is ever since Steven Jackson got that penalty for spiking it, he hasn't been back in the game. And they have gone with Daryl Richardson, the late pick at running back right there, number 26, since that penalty by Steven Jackson.
And they go with the no huddle here.
Frank, 59. Hot, 20, Frank, waiting, hot. 20.
Penalty flag. Steve Smith with the catch at the 45-yard line. London Fletcher on him for the tackle. So let's check the flag.
I cannot believe they're not getting out of that soft zone coverage defensively.
Offside, defense number 98, 5-yard penalty, replay, second down.
The call is on Brian Arakpo, who was injured earlier, came back in. Redskins still going without Adam Carricker for Jim Haslett's defense as Arakpo steps over to the bench. And there is Steven Jackson looking on to see if there is an injury or if that is just a cooling the temper move. The officials trying to sort something out. Guy's going crazy with the whistle down there.
What a difference in philosophy in terms of the game plan this week for the Redskins versus last week and what they did to Drew Brees.
They got to reset the ball here, by the way. That's the spot. So it's second down and 5. Something as basic as that we have had issues with today.
You know what I mean? Last week it was man coverage, pressure, sending at least 5 guys most of the time. They have elected to go with soft zone coverage. Now here they are lining up in some man. Let's see how they do.
Pressure coming, picked up, quick pass is caught. Across midfield is Steve Smith. Steve Smith hits at the 34 of Washington. The ex-Giant and ex-Eagle with a 25-yard gain.
Well, and Sam Bradford, how perfect can you be of finding the mismatch? They were locked up at man across the board with defensive backs on wide receivers, and Sam Bradford looks out there and sees the linebacker Perry Riley trying to cover Steve Smith and knew right away pre-snap that's where he was going with the ball. Steve, of course, breaks the tackle and picks up a bunch of extra yards.
Ram defensive players, James Laurinaitis and Chris Long, told us how confident Sam Bradford was and comfortable this year. He's looking like it today. Richardson quickly wrapped up by D'Angelo Hall. Let's get a game break and check in with Patrick O'Neill.
Well, from one rookie quarterback showing poise and skill to another, here in Seattle, Russell Wilson, 22 yards to Anthony McCoy for his first career touchdown, and perhaps a shocker as Seattle leads Dallas 20-7. Chris and Tim.
Thank you, Patrick. On 2nd and 11, in fact, 15 of the starting quarterbacks this weekend in the NFL are age 26 or under, and 2 of them in this game. including Bradford.
Get on!
He's wide open. Brandon Gibson, touchdown Rams. Yards, Sam Bradford to Brandon Gibson. They hooked up last week in Detroit for a touchdown.
Well, this may be the best I've ever seen Sam Bradford look, Chris, delivering the mail as the quarterback here for the St. Louis Rams.
63-yard drive on 4 plays. And the Rams have their first lead of the day in their home opener.
Here's a look at the touchdown, Chris, by Brandon Gibson. You see the arrow. He's going to run what he thinks is, what he knows is a slant route, but it turns into a slant and go. And Cedric Griffin just took the cheese big time. The corner, he bid on the slant. It was a slant and go, little pump fake from Sam Bradford, and Griffin had no chance to play catch up once Brandon Gibson turned it up the field.
Greg Zuerlein, last time, pinned them inside the 15, and now the Redskins have come out to the 20-yard line. Trailing after the Gibson touchdown. Washington is behind but has the football. Next week, the NFL on Fox, the Buccaneers and Cowboys, the Rams will take on the Bears in Chicago. The later games, Eagles, Cardinals, or the Falcons against the Chargers. San Diego leading Tennessee 17-3 in the third quarter. First down, Redskins from the 20.
It's the formation they got the touchdown of last week.
And he completes it to Aldrick Robinson, who can fly. Craig Dahl trying to run him down and eventually gets him out of bounds near the 49-yard line of Washington.
Chris, that was the same exact formation they got the long touchdown on last week, stacking the 2 tight ends to the right and running a double post with the 2 wide receivers that are out on the edge. Janoris Jenkins, a bad angle, and they're trying to make the tackle, allows Aldrick Robinson to pick up the extra yards.
A 28-yard gain. Robert Griffin III and the Redskins led throughout down in New Orleans. He's going to have to rally his team in the third quarter. They trailed by 2. Alfred Morris into Ram territory down to the 46-yard line. It was columnist Bernie Miklas of the St. Louis Post-Dispatch who said, I'm a Hall of Fame voter. I'm going to suspend the rules and put Robert Griffin III in right now. And then he said, seriously, folks, calm down. It's one game. And Mike Shanahan, in essence, said the same thing. On second down 5. Morris, 9 carries so far, 52 yards on the ground. He gets it again. And there goes the rookie from FAU, Alfred Morris, inside the 20 of the Rams. Shanahan described him as a back who hits the hole quickly and has great lateral movement.
Well, and he's got a great block here by Corey Lickensteiger. Watch him reach the defensive tackle. I mean, you can't have that as a defensive lineman. I mean, that is his gap of responsibility. Kellen Hurd has got to keep his outside shoulder free to be in that running lane for Alfred Morris. Give Lickensteiger a lot of credit. That was terrific.
29-yard run for the 6th round draft pick from Florida Atlantic. He gets the pitch from Robert Griffin III. Hit hard inside the 15. Call Star NFL to download NFL Mobile now and get coverage of every NFL game. Robert Griffin III told us he was a Bronco fan growing up. The irony with Mike Shanahan, but he was a fan of John Elway and Terrell Davis. And Davis, a 6th round draft pick like Alfred Morris, who has starred for Shanahan.
Well, they found a diamond in the rough in Alfred Morris, not just as a power back, but a guy who can really make people miss in the open field.
There goes Alfred Morris through the hole, down inside the 10-yard line. Tough running before James Laurinaitis brought him down.
And they are working the right side of that defensive line for the St. Louis Rams, and I don't blame them. I mean, if you look at the Redskins up front, clearly they're trying to establish their run game here and give their defense a little bit of a rest, Chris. I mean, their defense has been on the field a lot. How you do that, you establish the run game, you start chewing the clock up a little bit, move the chains. But they're running right behind Trent Williams at left tackle and Corey Lickensteiger at left guard, the strength of their line.
Evan Royster is in on 3rd and 1. Shanahan wants a timeout. And gets it. First Redskin timeout in the second half. They have 2 remaining. Robert Griffin III and the Redskins on the move, trailing by 2. After the Redskin timeout on 3rd and 1. The Ram defense digging in. A very different game for the rookie Robert Griffin III than last week. Trailing here.
See if they work it back to the left side again.
He fakes to Royster. Throws down near the goal line. The catch is made by Fred Davis, but not in the end zone. And the rookie looked calm and cool on that play. Shanahan.
Well, anytime he's outside of the pocket, Chris, he's calm and cool. Here's Freddie Davis here. He's going to get in front of the goal line. Griffin's going to get outside the pocket. He's just got such great skills and mobility. He doesn't worry about the guys up in his face. Keeps his eyes down the field. Let's see. Fred catches this ball. He's got possession. Is he touched? He's touched there before he crossed the goal line. Good call on a no touchdown.
Alfred Morris, the back. On 1st and goal, here's a flag as Robert Griffin III falls down.
No, he didn't fall down. Jermel Cudjoe pulled him down.
Ball start. Offense number 84. 5-yard penalty. Remains first down.
Niles Paul called for the penalty, and a big one when you're within a yard or less of the goal line.
I love Jermel Cudjoe. Watch, he's here. He's right over the ball. Watch him reach his right arm through, and he's going to reach and grab the foot of Robert Griffin. RG got his foot stepped on him, and then Cudjoe grabbed him, but certainly was reaching through there trying to grab the ankle.
That's one way to slow him down. On 1st and goal. Alfred Morris and the Rams bury him. Laurinaitis led the charge. He was in multiple tackle territory last week in that tough loss to the Lions.
Well, let me tell you the adjustment that the Rams just made. And they were getting worked over there on the side, on the right side of their defensive line. So that time they just slanted the front, which means they took Robert Quinn from his defensive end position and crashed him down inside, which kind of closed that void off that hole that they've been running through and allowed the linebackers to slide over and make the tackle.
Son of Greg Williams, the suspended coach indefinitely. Blake Williams helping Jeff Fisher work the defensive signals. RG3 straight ahead, touchdown. His 2nd running touchdown of the day.
Boy, I don't know if I would ever show a split 6 look, which means 2 wide defensive tackles and giving up the middle of the field to Robert Griffin. I mean, look, outside shade of the guard, outside shade of the guard. Look at that natural running lane for Robert Griffin III. That's too easy. That's too easy for a guy like that close to the goal line.
You talked about how smart he is, even for a rookie, recognizing the opportunity and taking advantage. So he's run for 2 and thrown for 1. An 8-play, 80-yard drive. And that's how Robert Griffin III responds to a Rams score. Robert Griffin III has run for 2 touchdowns today, 37 yards rushing. He's thrown for 150, did suffer his first interception as an NFL quarterback, but calmly has put the Redskins back into the lead here in the 3rd quarter in St. Louis.
Well, and he's so dynamic and talented that those defensive players, you've got to play him a little different than you do other quarterbacks. You get down near the goal line, you better make sure you have all the gaps covered up inside, or he's going to have easy running lanes and use that athletic skill.
Billy Cundiff makes sure that Gibbons cannot return, so the Ram offense will get it at the 20.
And here's what I'm talking about. I mean, they are beat, the St. Louis Rams, by alignment. I mean, look at, there's nobody in the middle. That's a huge hole for James Laurinaitis to try to fill against an elite athlete like Robert Griffin. He looked left. He knew he was running it the whole time, Chris, when he saw those defensive tackles split out on the guards with nobody really covering up the center or the middle part of that offensive line.
Meanwhile, Sam Bradford has said, as Laurinaitis going over the play, Sam Bradford said after last week that there was a different spark about this football team. When they struggled in the second and third quarter at Detroit, they responded in the fourth quarter, and they're going to have to do that late in the third here. As they don't respond well, here comes a flag as he goes down in the arms of Bowen and Rob Jackson.
And they're also going to get holding, I think, on Wayne Hunter over here.
Holding, offense number 72. Penalties declined, second down.
Wayne Hunter, and declined because of the sack. It'll be second and long for Bradford.
Here's Wayne Hunter here on Rob Jackson. He's got his arm across his chest plate, which means the front of his shoulder pads, and restricting him from getting to the quarterback, and still no Steven Jackson.
And he is okay. The Ram bench saying physically there's no injury, but he has not been in the game since the unsportsmanlike conduct call against him that pushed them back away from the goal line. Pass is complete. Lance Kendricks knocked down right away. It'll be third down. Washington, by the way, 2 sacks today compared to 7 last year in this game when they got to Bradford.
And what kind of message is Jeff Fisher sending to the rest of his team when he sets down the best player on the team for a discipline issue? What do you think all the other guys are thinking?
We pointed out they're the youngest team in the NFL, the average age at 25. Steven Jackson, the veteran who's played hard every down of every minute and never been on a winning team. Darrell Richardson, the back.
That Louis call is slide the protection to the left.
Bradford has time, throws, and completes. Danny Amendola with his 13th catch of the game. I wondered where he was in the second half.
Gain of 17. Good move of the Rams.
A 17-yard gain. So it's first and 10. Hitting career highs for the Rams. And they hurry to the line without a huddle. Darrell Richardson, the rookie, showing some speed, and there he goes! Down the sideline he goes! Knocked out of bounds inside the 5. Josh Wilson saved the touchdown, a 53-yard run for the rookie.
And here's what springs him. Watch the block by Britt Miller on Perry Riley, and then it's all about Darrell Richardson. There's the block, and then there's the juice and the ability to accelerate, get through the hole, and then run away from everybody until a corner comes and hits him with an angle on him. And that's the one thing they talked about Darrell Richardson. This guy will put his foot on the gas pedal and accelerate. There is no side-to-side movement. He is going straight downhill. That was a great example of it right there.
A 7th-round draft pick. You mentioned Isaiah Peed, the rookie from Cincinnati, taken in the 2nd round. But Darrell Richardson gives them a first-and-goal opportunity. And Josh Wilson, who saved the touchdown, is being checked on in what has been a very physical game. Mentally draining as well as physically.
Yeah, and that was a vicious collision. Hitting Darrell Richardson over there on the sideline. Saw him got up, and Josh Wilson squeezing his hand typically means you had some type of a stinger in your neck and you're trying to feel your hand to see if you got numbness or you got strength in your hand.
This really sends a message because Isaiah Peed comes in, the rookie we just mentioned, for Richardson, as Jackson continues to look on. First and goal, Rams.
Amendola.
Sam Bradford with plenty of time, throws high and intercepted. Leaping in the end zone is London Fletcher. The last Ram playing in the NFL from their Super Bowl winning team. 15-year veteran with an end zone pick.
Sam never saw him. Sam never saw him. I can tell you why he never saw him. There's London Fletcher, and I want you to watch the vision point. Mike, I want you to stop it here, right? Let it go a little bit more. And you're going to see Sam never sees him. His vision point is clogged by these two players. He never sees London Fletcher in front of Steve Smith. Never sees him.
And that is the 19th career interception for London Fletcher. Sam Morris with, I should say Alfred Morris in the backfield and gets the pitch. Tough running as he keeps going. Meanwhile, Sam Bradford, his first interception. He did not have one in the opener.
How great of a player is London Fletcher? Started his career here with the St. Louis Rams, throwing the ball up in the stands. As a college free agent, he's told us many times he just wanted to make the practice squad. And he's never missed a game in a 15-year career. And I'll say it right now. You can talk Ray Lewis and Brian Urlacher and all those greats. And Ray's certainly going to the Hall of Fame. That career by London Fletcher is worthy of Hall of Fame status. No question in my mind at all about London Fletcher.
Robert Griffin III is on the move. Gets rid of it and quickly tackled as Niles Ball. Quentin Michael made the play. London Fletcher, a free agent from John Carroll. Division III school, 226 consecutive games. Making the big play. And even Jeff Fisher said, you could talk about Ray Lewis and Brian Urlacher, but he's right there as a Hall of Famer in my book.
Well, he can still run, and obviously he's super smart in his football intelligence, and he has a good idea what everybody's going to run. But the bottom line is, he's still got heat in those legs. He can run.
On 3rd and 6, almost picked off. Robert Griffin threw it behind the intended receiver, and Bradley Fletcher, the nickelback for the Rams, had a shot at it.
All right, there was miscommunication between Robert Griffin III and Desmond Briscoe. Look, Briscoe's playing because Pierre Garçon is out. And in my mind, Robert Griffin was throwing right to the numbers there on a landmark, expecting Desmond Briscoe just to sit down in his own.
It's blocked! Sam Rocca's kick for the second straight week. And the Rams have it inside the 25 of Washington. Making the play for the Rams, Matthew Mulligan.
Man, this is a great game. Back and forth both ways. Looks like it's going to come from this side. Oh, right up the gut from the other side. Matthew Mulligan, as the line stepped down, he just found a little crease, and that was picture perfect. Really taking it right off the foot of Sam Rocca.
The blocking tight end in on the special teams play, and the Rams are back in business. Darrell Richardson, the back for Sam Bradford. Richardson got the big run to set him up inside the 10 before the London Fletcher interception ruined the last Ram drive. Danny Smith, the special teams coach, and even Mike Shanahan said, I know they'll be coming after us because we had some problems last week that we need to correct.
Well, in 2 blocks in the first 2 games, I can guarantee you people are going to come after him from now till the end of the season.
2nd down 7 for the Rams. Field goal will only get them within a couple.
Let's see if they blitz this empty set.
Yeah, Richardson goes all the way to the left as a wide receiver at the bottom of your screen. Bradford goes the other way to Amendola, who can't slip the tackle. So a nice tackle made by D'Angelo Hall, who last week had his first solo sack in his career coming from the slot. He put pressure on New Orleans.
Yeah, but at least that time, man, they did send the extra guy in terms of the pressure player, but they were playing man coverage. And when you play tight coverage and you get a guy tackled right away, you minimize the opportunity for a gain versus Danny Amendola running free through the zones like he's been doing the entire football game.
3rd and 5 as the 3rd quarter winds down.
They're manned up again, Chris.
Steve Smith on the left side. Bradford goes right, and that's caught by Richardson. And Darrell Richardson is just again stopped short of the end zone by a tough tackle from Cedric Griffin.
Well, they've got everybody out to the left in terms of the receiver. Sam is quickly going to go right back to the right to Darrell Richardson. And I'm not so sure he's down here as Cedric Griffin tries to make the tackle. I'm not so sure a knee was down.
That is the end of the third quarter. Sam Bradford and the Rams giving Robert Griffin III and the Redskins a real battle here. St. Louis on the move. Sam Bradford has thrown for 288 yards and a couple of touchdowns. The Rams trailed much of the game, took the lead here in the second half. Washington responded behind Robert Griffin III. And now the Rams knock it on the door from the 1-yard line. First and goal. The rookie Daryl Richardson has replaced Steven Jackson. Richardson has run for 70 yards and caught a couple of passes for 19 yards.
He has been explosive.
He is fake to Bradford. End zone wide open. Touchdown Rams. Matthew Mulligan. And the Rams are going to go for 2 with a 1-point lead.
Well, nobody covers Matthew Mulligan, but it's the play action. Watch the linebackers bite up. Mulligan with a clever little move to slip behind him. Sam with the patience in the pocket, uncovered in the back of the end zone for a touchdown. But I'm telling you, it was all set up by Daryl Richardson and his ability to run the ball in this game. He's running for 10 yards a carry. That sucked up the linebackers in the play action.
Mulligan, his first NFL touchdown. He's a 27-year-old tight end from Maine, was with Brian Schottenheimer and the Jets, brought over to help block and obviously catch. So they're going to go for the 2-point conversion here to start the fourth quarter. Bradford's third touchdown pass of the game.
Sam has been awesome at the line of scrimmage today.
Richardson, can he do it again? We'll let the crowd say it.
Chris, I got to tell you, that's a half a dozen times at least we've seen Sam Bradford get to the line of scrimmage, read the defense, take his time, and then the kill call, which means kill it. The play that we called is off. We're going to the other play. And he turns around and hands it to Daryl Richardson for the 2 points.
And Richardson fighting hard, so the rookie gets in for the conversion. Mulligan gets the touchdown.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Sprint, by Pizza Hut, make it great, and by Bud Light, the official beer of NFL fans. Here we go.
In sold-out St. Louis, Tim Ryan, Chris Myers, Rams and Redskins. And St. Louis taking a 3-point lead, but the officials are confirming the 2-point conversion run by rookie Daryl Richardson, where it was ruled good on the field. So while they confirm, we'll confirm. We're glad you're watching the NFL on Fox. Referee Wayne Elliott, with help from upstairs, an official review of Richardson's 2-point conversion, ruled good on the field.
And it'll stay good. You see the ball right there, Daryl Richardson, as he crosses the goal line. His hip was not down yet. The ball crosses. That'll be a good 2-point conversion and extend the lead to 3, as you said. I love Daryl Richardson.
The call on the field stands. The extra point is good.
I mean, you got to love Daryl Richardson as a 7th-round pick, Chris, out of Abilene Christian. And we talked about his burst and his explosion in the big runs. But what a great example right there of his power and his determination and desire to get into the end zone.
And as Steven Jackson said, with the young running backs, they've asked me a lot of questions. They've worked hard and observed, and they have not wanted to disappoint me when they got the opportunity.
And I think with Isaiah Pete, who was their 2nd-round pick, he didn't lose the job as the backup to Steven Jackson in training camp. Daryl Richardson won it. That's how good he was.
Greg Zuerlein, who's been perfect in the field goal and extra point department, kicking off for the Rams. 31 points for the Rams today. Good enough for a 3-point lead at the moment. Banks will watch it sail. And the Redskins come out to the 20. The new AP rankings are out this Saturday. College football is back on Fox. Kick off the weekend with the pregame show. 2 unbeaten teams clash. Kansas State, 15th ranked, will be in Norman, Oklahoma to take on the 6th ranked Sooners. Coverage of the college football broadcast at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific. And Oklahoma Sooners Sam Bradford equaling an NFL career best 3 touchdown passes. Robert Griffin III with time. And gets rid of it out of bounds. It'll be 2nd and 10 for Washington.
I would have loved to have been a great athlete like Robert Griffin III who doesn't panic. I mean, he's standing back there. He's getting to his 2nd read, his 3rd read, his 4th read, back to his 1st read. And buying time. He had about 7 seconds back there just extending the play with his legs and then finally throws it away. He is not worried about the rush because in his heart, Chris, he knows he can escape all of them athletically.
Alfred Morris. And the Rams swarm him. It'll be 3rd down. Let's get an update from Patrick O'Neill.
Chris, Tennessee at San Diego, and Antonio Gates is inactive, the tight end for the Chargers. So if you picked up Dante Rosario, you're a genius. 3 catches, 3 touchdowns from Phillip Rivers. All Chargers 24-10. Chris and Tim.
Thanks, Patrick, and sold out St. Louis. 3rd down with Evan Royster in.
Chris Long.
Complete. Joshua Morgan makes the catch, but it's not good enough for a 1st down. Clinton Michael from his safety spot sends Robert Griffin III to the sideline. Sal Rocca, who had his last punt blocked by Mulligan, who ended up catching his 1st career touchdown. Danny Amendola inside his 20. Brought down hard at the 16. And Lorenzo Alexander with a flag.
Yeah, they're going to get him for a horse collar here. And the hand doesn't have to be in the collar. He's not going to like this. If it was anywhere near the collar and it actually breaks down the runner and his legs collapse, you don't have to take him all the way to the ground. They're going to call it. I'll be curious to see where the placement of Alexander's hands are on the pass.
Personal foul, horse collar tackle, 97 on the punting team, 15-yard penalty, 1st down. Timeout.
Yeah, and here, yeah, that's a clear horse collar. That was a good call.
Each team with 7 penalties.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by the new 2013 Ford F-150 with EcoBoost.
13:25 to go here in regulation. Rams with the football, protecting a 3-point lead. Darrell Richardson carries again. Sam Bradford faced Robert Griffin III once in college when Oklahoma took on Baylor, and he mentioned how Bob Stoops kept telling everybody in the defensive meetings how terrific this young talent was. And of course, Oklahoma held the upper hand.
Yeah, that's all Sam said. Yeah, I remember that. What I do remember, we won. We won. That's all that matters.
And in this game, he said we have an answer for everything the Redskins defense does, and so far they have responded.
There's been 2 great plays by the Redskins. The fumble and the return for a touchdown early, the interception in the end zone. Besides that, it was few and far between so far.
4 wide receivers. Pass is incomplete for Steve Smith. It'll bring up 3rd down. Checking some of the early games, and there were a few surprises and the individual performances. Eli Manning leading a comeback against Tampa Bay, 510 yards.
Incredible, and they were way down in that game against Tampa.
Reggie Bush helping the Dolphins. And Joe Philbin to their first victory.
Well, remember last year, they ran roughshod all over the Raiders with Reggie Bush. Looks like they did it again today.
Rams are 7 for 10 on third down as Steve Smith goes to the left. And we're going to get a timeout called by the Rams. They will have 2 remaining. Offensive-minded head coach Mike Shanahan. Jeff Fisher, defensive-minded leader of the Rams on third down.
The Rams have been superb in third down here today against what week after week is always a good third down defense in the Redskins. Man coverage.
Bradford for Amendola. Short of the first down as he's brought down by Richard Crawford, the rookie from SMU. So it will be a punting situation. Sam Bradford closing in on his 4th career 300-yard game and 15 catches for Danny Amendola as the rookie Johnny Hecker ready to boot it. Brandon Banks back to return. Goes out of bounds inside the 20-yard line. Redskins trail by 3. Week 2 for Robert Griffin III. Two touchdown runs for the rookie and a touchdown pass of 68 yards to Leonard Hankerson, who's played without Pierre Garçon, who inactive from the start.
Well, Santana Moss has been awfully quiet today, and he just had a foul. He moved forward before the ball was snapped.
Ball start. Offense 89. 5-yard penalty. Remains first down.
The noise here has had an effect.
Yeah, let me correct that. 1 catch for only 3 yards for Santana Moss, but he has been held in check by Cortland Finnegan.
Rams have 2 turnovers here in this game, and Robert Griffin III has a interception. Sets to throw and completes right at the 25-yard line. Joshua Morgan sandwiched in between a couple of defenders.
Yeah, that was a heck of a job hanging on to the ball by Joshua Morgan, who just got slammed by Quentin Michael. You can see him flash into your screen to the left. It's hit hard, sandwiched between Laurinaitis and Quentin Michael, and still holds on for the 9-yard gain.
DC native from Woodson High School, Joshua Morgan. On 2nd and 1. Robert Griffin III has it. First down as he's knocked down across the 30.
Well, that's just that really is assignment football. And talking to Chuck Cecil, and for the Rams on defense, this is like defending the college option. Chris Long has got to tackle the dive player. And there's Chris. He's going to come flying into your screen. No matter what he sees, he's got to make that tackle. Now where's the guy for the quarterback? And James Laurinaitis late getting over. It's exactly what Chuck Cecil talked about, assignment football. Chris took care of his assignment. James Laurinaitis was late on his.
He's going to throw it. And wide open. Aldrick Robinson can't hold on.
Another terrific deep ball throw by Robert Griffin III. It comes off the play action. He loves doing this. He's going to turn and fake it. Actually a double fake. And then he unloads it. And it was almost like the lights got in the eyes of Aldrick Robinson because that ball hit him right in the hands.
This is not a well-lit dome. Now 2nd and 10. Evan Royster checks in. Here goes Robert Griffin III. Weaving his way for a first down up to the 45-yard line. You talk about an option quarterback. His head coach, Mike Shanahan, was a wishbone quarterback in high school. First went on to college at Eastern Illinois. And had a big grin ear to ear when he thought about having a quarterback who can do the things that Robert Griffin III can do.
Yeah, Mike was so good they switched him to wide receiver when he got to Eastern Illinois.
Well, remember, he wanted to draft Sam Bradford back when the Rams selected him, but couldn't move up in the draft. And they made the deal with the Rams to get Robert Griffin III.
And you know what? They didn't know if they were going to get Robert or Andrew Luck. In their minds, it was steak or lobster. We'll take either one.
He still has the football. He's going to keep it and go out of bounds inside the 47. His 9th rushing attempt today.
I just don't know what you do different if you're Cortland Finnegan. He was absolutely perfect, and you attack the throwing shoulder if you're Cortland Finnegan coming off the edge. So you attack the upfield shoulder just like that so he doesn't spin out the backside. RG3 with the athleticism is able to spin inside and then really make something out of nothing. Impressive.
Second down 1 from the 46 of St. Louis. Evan Royster has a first down as Chris Long brings him down. Royster, many thought would be the starter, or Roy Halou Jr. Remember, Tim Hightower last year had the injury and was cut before the season started, and that allowed Alfred Morris, the 6th-round draft pick, to move up to starter. He had 75 yards in the second half last week against New Orleans. Number 46, Alfred Morris, is in the game now. He gets the football, but the Rams noticed him.
That's really good by William Hayes. And we talked about when you're defending that zone, whether it be the inside zone play or the outside zone play, you got to get push as a defensive lineman. You've got to establish on their side of the line of scrimmage. And look at him knock back Tyler Columbus and do exactly what I talked about, and then disengage and make a tackle for loss. Terrific.
Royster remains at it, 2nd and 14. Complete to Royster. Knocked out of bounds. Inside the 43 by Dunbar. Tough hitting. Robert Griffin III said after last week, my body feels okay. I took the hits in New Orleans. I can handle it.
Took one there from William Hayes. It looked like he was trying to lay off.
A tipping point, 3rd down for Washington. There goes RG3, but no first down.
Touchdown by Finnegan.
And now you know why that play by William Hayes, which was a tackle for loss, ended up being so big in forcing him into the 3rd and extra long. Defensive line there got terrific penetration, and Robert saw a little running lane, but it was just too much distance for him to make up to get the first down.
So Savaraka for Amendola. Fair catch called for just over the 10-yard line. Rams will take over, trying to protect a 3-point lead. Just over 7 minutes to go here in the 4th quarter. The Rams will be at Chicago, part of the NFL on Fox next weekend. The Bucs at the Cowboys on Sunday. 49ers, Vikings, Lions, and Titans. And in the late games, Eagles and Cardinals, and the Falcons, who play Monday night against the Chargers, who are winning 31-10 in the 4th quarter. San Diego on its way to going to 2-0. It all begins with the Built Ford Tough Fox NFL Sunday pregame show at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific.
You know what I love? It's only week 2. We got a long way to go, baby. We got a lot of ball left.
And that's what Robert Griffin III was telling us when we met with him yesterday. This is the rookie Richardson. Transferred from a junior college. And then at Abilene Christian became a 2-year starter. where he was the second 7th-round draft pick for this Rams team. Now, the no huddle and hurry up, which works so well as we have an injured Ram. Now, of course, trying to protect the lead, a different approach.
Well, this is the second left tackle injured today. Roger Saffold early. This looks like Wayne Hunter, his replacement, down this time.
Ty Nsekhe would have to go in to take his spot. Already Scott Wells on the injured list. Rakevius Watkins with an ankle injury. Another injury here in St. Louis. An offensive line coach for the Rams at his second tour with them, and very likable Paul Boudreau with his hands full as Wayne Hunter limped off, who was already in as the backup left tackle for Saffold.
Coach Boudreau's got to be awfully proud of his guys up front, and not just the backups. Look, Quinn Ojanaka was cut in training camp, just brought back this week. He started at left guard. Now he's lost his second left tackle, and Ty Nsekhe's out there, who they picked up off waivers at the end of training camp, and they have really done what they wanted to do offensively today, both running and protecting Sam Bradford. Very good job up front. Boudreau should be happy.
A quick pitch to Daryl Richardson. Hitting going on down at the 14-yard line. Rob Jackson and Perry Riley bringing up a 3rd down for the Rams.
And they're going to want to continue just to milk this play clock, take it all the way down so that they can chew this and hopefully get themselves a first down here if you're the Rams, to keep having the opportunity to chew that clock and keep that Redskin offense over on the sideline.
Sam Bradford has thrown for 297 yards and 3 touchdowns. Richardson has taken over for Steven Jackson. 3rd and 7.
Here comes the pressure.
Richardson with nowhere to go, and what a defensive play by a swarm of Redskins inside the 10-yard line.
What a terrific play by Cedric Griffin, Chris, coming off the edge. And here he is, and they're thinking it's going to be a pass, so they're bringing the heat right away. And look at him just bouncing off offensive linemen, keeping his outside arm free and not giving Daryl Richardson the corner. That is well done.
An unusual call on 3rd and 7. So now a punting situation, and there's Brandon Banks. Letting the clock run. Just over 5 minutes to play. Becker. Nice move. Inside the 25 of Washington. Banks trying to turn the corner.
Now there's a clip.
And he is run out at the 22-yard line. No flags. A 65-yard boot. Let's get a game break with Patrick O'Neill.
Chris, thanks a lot. We go to San Diego. All Chargers versus the Tennessee Titans, capping off an 11-play, 80-yard drive. Jackie Battle with the plunge. It's 31-10. Chargers closing in on a 2-0 start. Chris and Tim.
Thank you, Patrick.
Boy, the Redskins get a break, because this looks like a clip in the back for sure. You hit him in the back and you knock Fletcher down. That is a foul on Crawford that was not called.
2 timeouts remaining. Just under 5 minutes to play for Robert Griffin III. What a hit, and the ball comes out. Davis, and Jenkins comes up with it. And they're ruling it incomplete. Fred Davis got rocked. Janoris Jenkins took the ball to the end zone.
Well, I love big hits. I think we all do. But when guys are defenseless, you can't lay the hammer down on them like Janoris Jenkins just did right there.
No flag, ruled incomplete.
Well, the receiver was defenseless. Look, Fred Davis has got to be able to possess the ball, get both feet down, and have an opportunity to protect himself before he gets rocked in the head. And Janoris Jenkins put the shoulder right on his chin. I told you early in the game, Janoris Jenkins is a very good cover guy. He will absolutely blast you as a hitter.
Redskins want a timeout. They'll have 1 remaining, and I think Mike Shanahan is making that argument. Rams have 2 timeouts remaining. It's been a physical game. There have been unsportsmanlike conduct calls. The Rams have worked themselves into the lead.
I'll tell you, these coaches have got to be out of their minds with the way the officiating is going in this game. And Mike Shanahan showing it a lot more in terms of the frustration on his face versus Jeff Fisher, but they have both been, in my mind, victimized by bad calls or no calls.
He also is arguing that the play clock needs to be reset, that it was not. And Jeff Fisher knows all about clock mismanagement by the people running it after last week, because that's why he wanted to use the timeout.
Reset the play clock for 25 seconds. Washington is not charged with timeout.
And that's what I was trying to tell you, that he didn't want to have to use a timeout because they had to set the play clock, and they did. So still 2 timeouts, and that's important for the Redskins. Almost intercepted. Rocky McIntosh, the ex-Redskin, and there's a flag down back where Robert Griffin III went down.
And Robert Quinn looked like he was getting held as he was trying to jump on the back of RG3.
Holding, offense number 71. 10-yard penalty, replay, second down.
And that is on the left tackle, Trent Williams. Robert Quinn has been terrific today as he's going to run the corner and then work back to the inside. And Trent Williams just reached out and grabbed his leg, trying to protect the franchise quarterback. Reached down and just wrapped up the right leg of Robert Quinn. That was a good call by the official.
They haven't won a home opener in their last 5.
Let's not forget about RG3 as a runner now.
Incomplete. It'll be 3rd and 20. He got knocked down again.
And the reason I say that, with the down and distance as long as it is, they're really playing off coverage, which is an opportunity for RG3 to run. Takes a shot to the shoulder from the defender just as he's unloading.
It'll be 4th down.
Robert Griffin's got his eyes down the field, but watch Aldrick Robinson out of the slot. I mean, that's what you call taking the cap off the defense. Craig Dahl had his eyes in the backfield. Aldrick Robinson ran right by him. Robert Griffin didn't see him.
Sadrocka's boot. Amendola knocked down right away. Niles' ball was right there. Well, the quarterbacks been much of the story, but Danny Amendola with 15 receptions for 160 yards and a touchdown, inching in on a Tom Fears Ram record that has stood since 1950.
And the beauty of his day is you just saw how it started. He fumbled after his first catch, which was the first play of the game. The Redskins picked it up, ran it in for a touchdown. And Danny Amendola says, you know what? The windshield's a lot bigger than the rear view mirror. I'm going to look forward. And they have been feeding him the football. He's been super.
Tom Fears has the Ram record with 18 catches in one game. 3 more. Amendola equals that. Rams are trying to win the game. Hanging to a 3-point lead. Pass is complete across the 40 to Mulligan.
The inline blocking tight end, the safety valve for Sam Bradford outside the pocket. Matthew Mulligan came from the opposite side of the field and just ran a crossing route and stayed with Sam Bradford. Sam's been terrific. I got to tell you, a guy that was sacked like crazy his first 2 years in the NFL, sacked 7 times against these Redskins last year. He has shown tremendous poise, whether he's inside the pocket or outside the pocket as a passer.
4th 300-yard gain for Sam Bradford. And Darrell Richardson has the football. He came in Steven Jackson had been running the football well. Redskins are going to use a timeout, but didn't get into the end zone and spiked the football. Got an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty.
Timeout, Washington. 30-second timeout.
And since then, Steven Jackson has not been in the game, but the rookie 7th rounder, Daryl Richardson, has done an excellent job of handling things on the ground for St. Louis. Well, the Ram fans saw this last week on the road in Detroit. They led all but 8 minutes in that game. Detroit drove late, beat the Rams. Now they have the football and a 3-point advantage.
Well, it's time to finish. And I think if you look at the way the game has gone so far today with the offensive line up front, the ability to open up the running lanes, not only Steven Jackson early, but for Daryl Richardson, really since about midway through the second quarter, that's what they got to do. They got to rely on those guys and then rely on Sam Bradford and his arm, which has been tremendously accurate. Little short dump-offs, fast pass, and move the chains, chew the clock, make the Redskins use those final timeouts. They've got one left and walk out of here at home with a victory. It's been a while since they've won a home opener, I believe.
Redskins scored 40 last week. That was the most in the Shanahan era. They're going to need to score more if they're going to rally here, but they've got to stop Sam Bradford and the Ram offense.
Always like the way the defensive line's pointing at the O-line and vice versa.
Offside. Defense number 72. 5-yard penalty. Remains second down.
Jim Haslett, the defensive coordinator, with Raheem Morris, the secondary coach, and they are both upset at the call on Stephen Bowen.
They've been upset from the get-go with the officiating in this game.
Last time the Rams won a home opener, 2006, when they beat the Broncos 18-10. Jim Haslett was the Rams defensive coordinator at the time. Now he's on the other sideline. Richardson with a pivotal first down, and Washington's going to have to use its last time out.
How about the way Jeff Fisher started the program here when he got the head coaching job? Came in and said, we're going to start with the 4-minute control the clock, win the game drill. Because if you don't start there, you'll never finish there. And in the first 2 weeks, the first 2 games of the season, it's the exact situation that he prepared for from day one. And you can say all you want as players, and Jeff Fisher's got a great track record. He's been around and he knows it all. Chris, until you've been in a locker room at halftime of that first game and you hear the adjustments and you hear the plan, you really don't know. Well, I know one thing. After last week and what they've got out of their coach in terms of the intelligence and handling the situations and what they've gotten today from Jeff Fisher, they're all believers.
It's the first thing Ram players said to a man was when Jeff Fisher came in, his experience of running an operation from the top all the way down. And it has had an effect. As he said, though, it will only really matter when we get a win. And
I always loved he's going to come in and change the culture. Great. The only thing that changes the culture is execution on the field and winning by the players. Now, it'd be a big catalyst to that, but until they get it done on the field, the culture will not change.
Redskins are out of timeouts. They still have the 2-minute warning. It's a 1st and 10 for the Rams. Richardson. Harry Riley makes the stop. He gets near the 40. We haven't seen an offensive performance like this from the Rams in quite some time. And now with the 2nd and 5, they want to keep it away from Robert Griffin III.
And I'll tell you, London Fletcher is hot because after that play, Quinn Ojanaka cheap shots him right in front of the official. Yeah, listen to Mike Shanahan. Watch this. Watch this. I mean, that unacceptable.
No flag. 2nd and 5. Richardson. Ball is out. Looks like the Redskins have it. It's D'Angelo Hall. The rookie who had been carrying the load lost the football.
And I think it's London Fletcher. It looked like is the guy who stripped it out.
It started with a fumble that the Redskins scored on when Josh Wilson ran it in. And that's where we get back to here. D'Angelo Hall recovering the loose football. They've been scrapping with each other, these two teams, during timeouts.
That's about
special
8 scraps for D'Angelo Hall in this game. You do not get London Fletcher riled up. Watch his left arm punch the ball out there of Daryl Richardson, who is just flying downhill. London Fletcher goes backdoor on the blocker, lays out, knocks the ball out at the most opportune time for the Redskins. What a huge play.
D'Angelo Hall with the recovery. Now Robert Griffin III can add to his legacy. They run a screen to Evan Royster, who's hit hard across the 42-yard line. 2-minute warning coming up. Redskins are out of timeouts.
Yeah, they'll get to stop the clock at the 2-minute warning, but then they're going to have to start working the sidelines a little bit. As you know, in the last 5 minutes of a game, you get the ball out of bounds, the clock stops up until the next snap.
Complete first down in Ram territory is Santana Moss, who's been quiet today. Quiet not from the verbal sense, but in the catching the football sense.
And you're going to see the Rams, every time they make a tackle in the field of play, they are going to lay on the offensive player as long as they can to keep that clock moving.
Mike Shanahan needs a field goal to tie. Billy Cundiff, his career-long field goal, 56 yards. That red stripe is where the Redskins have to get to that. And there goes Robert Griffin III. He slips a tackle. And wisely gets out of bounds inside the 40. Inching a little bit closer.
How about that wicked stiff arm he just put on Eugene Sims?
Cundiff this year has made a 45-yarder. He actually has 5 kicks over 50 yards in his career. It was an 11-yard run for Griffin III, so first and 10.
Well, I am very curious to see how Robert, in a second NFL game, handles this situation. No timeouts left. A minute 53 to go.
Evan Royster, the running back. Pass is behind Fred Davis. It'll be second down. Griffin 18 of 26, 196 yards, a touchdown and an interception. But he has also run 11 times for 82 yards and 2 touchdowns. Jeff Fisher already went through a heart-pulsating finish in Detroit on kickoff weekend. That's caught, middle of the field. Remember, no timeout, so the clock runs. Santana Moss with the grab, but it's third down. Right now, you're looking at a long field goal.
Well within Cundiff's range now.
Open. Joshua Morgan inside the 30. And he threw the football. There's a flag.
Well, they always get the guy who retaliates, and it was Cortland Finnegan who put his hand in there first and pushed on the helmet of Joshua Morgan, and then Morgan turned around and threw the ball at him.
I mean,
Good ball. Unsportsmanlike conduct. Offense number 15. 15-yard penalty. He fourth down.
a major miscue when you were in field goal range.
Yeah, unexcusable. And here it is right here. Finnegan trying to rip it out from behind. And watch as Joshua Morgan gets up. Finnegan pushes him in the helmet. And then Joshua Morgan reacts. That is, man, what a huge error.
It's fourth down now.
Oh, my goodness.
They were in easy field goal range before, but because it was a dead ball foul, you couldn't try a 62 or 63-yarder. They need to get to the 29 for a first down. Officials wanted a timeout.
Timeout, St. Louis. 30-second timeout.
Oh, what an awful, awful penalty. I mean, you said it. At least in position to kick a field goal and tie it.
It would have been a 48-yard field goal before the unsportsmanlike conduct dead ball foul on Joshua Morgan. And now, looks like they may try.
Yeah, I think they are going for a field goal. It looks like Mike Shanahan, just talking to Robert Griffin III, said we're going to try to kick it.
Let's take another look at the penalty on Morgan and what happened after he made such a nice catch and effort to get forward.
Well, and they always get the guy who retaliates. Look, Cortland Finnegan started it with a push in the helmet, which is also inexcusable. But the way Josh Morgan, look at his play, look at Brian Arakpo's reaction to what his teammate Joshua Morgan just did.
A 62-yard field goal try. The NFL record is 63. It's been done 4 times. His career long, 56. The kick? No.
I'll say this, both teams on both sidelines have got to be running on empty emotionally. This has been an unbelievable football game. With drama any way you want it.
Sam Rocca, the holder.
Good snap, good hold. He had no chance, Chris. He pushed it right from the get-go.
And he knew it. Jeff Fisher with drama again in week 2. After a year off of coaching. 16 seasons in Tennessee. And for Sam Bradford, a different vibe.
This is the best I've seen him play. He had the one error in the end zone where he threw the interception, where I think his vision point was clogged up. He couldn't see London Fletcher sitting in the back of the end zone. Other than that, he's been brilliant.
Including the setback last week. The Rams had lost 8 in a row. And for DC native Joshua Morgan, the frustration got him in trouble and took the Redskins out of field goal range, makeable range. Look at that. The Rams had to battle back, trailing from the start, taking on Robert Griffin III. Buddies from their coaching days when they were in San Francisco, and still good friends, Jeff Fisher and Mike Shanahan.
I would have loved to heard that. I think it would go something like this. Mike, great job. We have got to get the real officials back.
Each team has a 1-1 record. The Rams take game 2 of the season, 31-28.